In Greek, nostalgia literally means the pain from an old wound. It's a twinge in your heart, far more powerful than memory alone. It goes backwards and forwards. It takes us to a place where we ache to go again. Ladies and gentlemen, and variations thereupon, my name is Oodles, and this is Modern Escapism. Hello and welcome to this very nostalgic episode of Modern Escapism. As you already know, I am Oodles and I am going to be taking the reins of this episode. So come and have a ride with me. And today I am joined by a few of my illustrious pod friends. First on the agenda, or menu, whatever you want to call it, is Mr. Gadget. Hello.
Hello. You all right?
Also, with us today is the immaculate Stig, a.k.a. Stuart, a.k.a. Stig, a.k.a. Stuart.
Hello. How's it going?
And last but surely never least is the ever illustrious Biggie.
Good evening.
Right then, so as we usually do start the show, we're going to go back in time a little bit, if you'll indulge us for a wee moment, and I believe it's Mr. Stig that's going to take us back in time. Are you ready to go 88 miles per hour, Stig?
I am indeed.
Excellent. Go for it.
Right. Welcome to Back in Time. This week I will be talking about some feedback from our football episode last week. We had some good feedback on that. Thank you for those who listened. We're going to start with Kurt Lewin.
Thank you very much.
So we're going to start with Kurt Lewin at Angry Kurt on Twitter. Kurt, next time, make sure you get your homework in on time, please. He comes to this after we recorded.
Yeah,
sloppy.
Yep.
So Kurt says, following on last week's Inquisition, he says, I'm a huge Derby fan and season ticket holder. Other than gaming, it's probably the thing that I follow the most closely, and I'll watch any match on TV. His lowlights was the whole of the 06-07 season, as it was his first time as a season ticket holder, and we infamously became the worst team in the Premier League history.
That's got to hurt.
Yeah,
That's got to hurt.
I think,
I'm sure that wasn't long lived. I'm sure Sunderland took that over like a couple of years later.
no, still
not
held
quite.
by. Yeah, I think Sunderland got maybe 14 or 15.
Yeah.
But Derby is still there with 11 points for the whole of the season.
Imagine.
Not the type of season you want your first season ticket to be. No.
Was it
But he
Kurt's
says-
fault?
It could have been. Yeah, football fans are very superstitious, so yeah. We haven't exactly, wowed the world since Kurt started going there, so maybe it is your fault, Kurt, sorry. Anyway, his a highlight has to be the second playoff against Leeds a couple of seasons ago.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa,
he said,
whoa.
we'd been battered by Leeds in the first leg, so I was not expecting the win. And I think they won 4-2 at Ellen Road.
They did.
Yeah,
They did.
So,
Animals.
yeah, he wanted to get that in, especially for you, Oodles. So,
Well, it's not been a really good weekend for Leeds already, so let's just leave it there.
yeah,
It was a good start to the season.
yeah. I'm saying nothing as a Liverpool fan. Next up, we have Aaron Murren Heath at Tigerland. He says, "Yo, thanks for reading my Mansfield bit. Another great show. Love it. Short and sweet. That's what we like."
Thank you.
Christopher Love at Deadbeat Punk was a little less complimentary about our main topic of football. His feedback was literally just a Jurassic Park, that's one big pile of shit gif. So,
Punks notoriously don't like football, I presume.
That's what I hear. So yeah, thanks for that, Chris. I hope you at least listen to the first half, though.
You know
good
what?
stuff in
I'll
there.
tell you this now, and Chris can come at me at this. He definitely listened to the whole thing and loved it. He just won't admit it.
Yeah, I reckon so.
You know full well he was smiling all the way through it.
Next up, we have Dave Higham at Dave Higham 83. So he quotes me here because he rightfully calls me out, and we've discussed this already. We were in the corporate boxes, but we wanted to be in the crowd because it was full of tourists. Says the Liverpool fan from North Yorkshire.
You did mention that though. You did sow the seeds of saying that you were aware that you're not a Liverpudlian.
Yes, but technically he's right. I am a tourist, aren't I? But I did follow up with that on Twitter and just say I have been a lot of times. I know the songs, I know the chants, I at least know the players' names. There was a guy in there who literally called one of our players by their numbers.
Oh, I hate that. Number six.
Yeah, like he was just calling out. He's like number 5, and I'm like, come on, like just. So, but he does add, even though I'm a firm believer of supporting your home town team, your passion for Liverpool could be felt throughout the podcast. But it did annoy him how Doomerkin got laughed at for supporting Wigan when he's the only one that goes to every game and supports his own town team.
Ooh. Wow,
that's a good call.
Yeah, another good call by Dave there. Although
I don't go to every game, but
it was only Oodles. It was only Oodles that laughed at him supporting Wigan.
I actually apologised on Doomerkin's behalf for he was supporting them, so I'm just as guilty.
Yeah. And I will laugh every single time he tells me. That's a promise.
John Cheetham. Is it Cheetham? We'll go with that.
Probably.
No.
Cheetham.
Sorry.
Cheetham.
John Cheetham at John Cheetham. Anyway. Other than a couple of great...
Sorry, John.
You have to bear with me when sometimes I get names wrong. It will happen. Even the easy ones. If you listen to the pilot episode, I really cock someone's name up on that. So
no, you cock up Idaho.
Yeah.
Can he say it? Can he say it now?
No.
He's been calling them poodles for years.
Anyway, John here says, other than a couple of great seasons years ago going to Hereford United matches with my dad when we lived there, I've never really followed football, but really enjoyed hearing your anecdotes and feelings about the sport. Another great listen. That's great feedback.
That's what we wanted.
That is because we knew we were going to do some specific podcasts on certain subjects, but it's good to know that people who really aren't into those, like, listened to the whole thing and enjoyed what we talked about.
Well, I will point out as well. Bear in mind, when we had the episode about things we hate, I pointed out how much I hate football.
Yes,
I had to listen to that episode like 5 times, recording it and editing it, and you're all still
nothing
alive.
about football.
It did turn out to be a very enjoyable chat, and
we do pay you like £2,000 an edit. So I mean, you have been getting those checks, haven't you?
No.
Oh shit! Shit. We'll work on that.
I listened to the podcast several times over, and as I said, I was quite vociferous in my dislike for football, much to some of our listeners' chagrin, shall we say? But no, it was a really enjoyable chat, and you just did a really good job last week. It was a fun one.
Stig aimed it to be more of a human chat about it. I think it was perfectly pitched, perfectly planned, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, other than that little section about our predictions, which was just us reeling off names, we hope to try and just make it a bit more.
Doomerkin did sound like he was reading out the pool's results.
Get ready for the Dungeons and Dragons podcast that's coming up soon. So just polar opposite.
Yeah.
I got a couple more. At Monk's Boy, he said, this week was mostly engaging. I'm not the biggest footy fan, so I have drifted towards the end when you got into it, but overall quality.
That's not bad for that bloody monkey.
Yeah, he then follows that up with, Oodles is still wrong. Not sure what this week, but still wrong.
That bloody monkey. I swear down one day.
Last one here is Luke Dolsk at Luke Dolsk on Twitter. Can't believe you didn't read my Matt Letitia memory. There was only 2 swears in it. I think it was the type of swears that were in it, Luke.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are an explicit podcast, but we don't want to get banned.
Yeah. He carries on with saying, thing which I didn't mention is that in the car on the way home, my old man said that you must not repeat anything you heard at the game to your mum when you get home.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. 100%.
Yeah, there's some often quite horrible things said at football games.
It's one of my least favourite things about it, but sometimes when you're in the middle of it, it's very hard to not get involved.
He says at the end here, he just follows on from our talk about there being no fans in the stadium and how he's really missing being in the terraces at the moment. So
yeah,
it's like the game yesterday. Watching that, it's still not quite there, is it? That atmosphere.
No.
There's too much delay on the interactions and stuff like that. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the things they've been doing around the world in other sports and leagues, like without the fans? Like, was it the one? Was it Thailand or Japan or Korea or something like that, where they just put a load of sex dolls in the stands?
Yes,
Korea. Korea.
I've seen it.
The weirdest one, I saw this one on Twitter today. It was a baseball game in the US. Obviously, the US at the minute, the skies are all red because the West Coast is on fire. There was this photo taken from like the back of the stands where there's there's two teams playing the game. The sky is orange, and the stands are filled with cardboard cutouts of people, and it might be the most dystopic thing I've ever seen in real life. It's really, really weird.
Like some kind of Blade Runner baseball.
Yeah, it's really odd.
It isn't just sports, is it? Like,
no.
Like Britain's Got Talent now literally looks like that episode of Black Mirror.
I saw that. I thought that was really creepy.
Yeah,
I've not seen that.
I didn't see it. What happened?
They basically got now
they killed everybody.
Wall of LED. No, it's just got a wall of LED screens behind them with fans on Zoom calls. So it's just like Zoom heads everywhere. But it's just like the episode of Black Mirror where they have
Black Mirror. That is a great show. It's
but Britain's Got Talent isn't a great show.
No.
It's creepy normally.
The best one I've seen, I can't remember whether it was the Proms or something, but it was like a classical music show, and they filled the stalls with plants. So the musicians were playing to plants, and it's just this oddly serene thing. There's classical music played to.
I kind of like that though.
Greenery. It makes a really good visual.
I kind of like that. Is that it then, Stig?
That's it. Everything? That's everything we've had back on last week's episode. So thank you if you took the time to write into us.
Yeah, thank you everybody that actually listened and got involved, because we knew going in it could be quite a polarizing topic, but we've looked at the numbers of cells, and you seem to have all stuck around with us, apart from Christopher Love. And we really do thank you. We will obviously, like we said on day one, we are going to have niche topics from time to time. So if you stick with us, it's not always going to be bogged down in detail. So we try and educate as well as entertain. I mean, that's a bold statement, but it is entertainment at the end of the day. It
was the timing, wasn't it? We didn't have much of a choice because the season was starting, so it was just kind of
for more than half of the cast members of the show, we like football. It's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So excellent. So what we'll do now, we'll briskly ride into the Nexus and see what we've all been up to this week. I'm going to start with you, Biggie. Actually, what have you been up to, dude?
Not a lot, mate. Very little. I've been watching the Marvel Universe, as I mentioned.
Yes.
Currently about to watch Civil War again.
Ooh, one of my favourites.
But it's a great movie. But what
is.
really I found interesting was I missed Ant-Man first time round for reasons unknown. And I really enjoyed that.
Ant-Man's
I thought
great.
It really is.
The comedy
really
worked in that movie, which I think in a way maybe set the standard for later on when you got Thor Ragnarok.
I believe it did as well.
Just the humour worked in that movie as well, which is very different to the previous Thor movies. But Ant-Man, some of the gags in that were
was Ant-Man Peyton Reed? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes, he took over from Edgar Wright. So
yeah, that was it. I know there was some kind of issue with that. There is a lot.
Oh yeah, he was attached, wasn't he? Yeah, that's right. He had to drop out, didn't he?
There's a lot of Edgar Wright influences in that film.
You can tell.
That makes a lot of sense now, actually.
The whole sequence with Michael Pena doing the exposition dump, that is very Edgar Wright, that sequence.
And the Thomas the Tank Engine
That's inspired.
I just did not see that coming. That
It's
was
so
brilliant.
good.
Absolutely
So
brilliant.
good.
And I won't ruin it for anybody. So
Yeah,
feel
Thomas
free to
Tank
watch
Engine's
that
in it.
yourself. Well, but not explained.
What I liked about Ant-Man, and I think this does count for both the Ant-Man films as well, is that the baddie is never some ridiculous godlike creature, supervillain kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not a world ender, is it?
No, it's more grounded. It's a bad dude. It's a real fucking bad dude. But he's, it's not Thanos. It's not like someone who will destroy the world. It's someone who's out for like money. It's like a crime caper kind of thing.
There's a lot of heisty feeling to it.
Yeah, and
it's a great heist movie. The side characters as well are really funny as well.
Yeah.
I agree.
And a surprisingly good turn from Michael Douglas as well.
Michael Douglas. With the de-age him, and he looks incredible.
Yeah, that was so clever. That really did work.
Yeah, it really did. I can't wait till
I
they de-age me.
I won't go on about Star Wars where they're trying to put in either fake characters or make them look younger and stuff. But I actually thought that worked really well.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Is that how far you got then? Is Ant-Man the latest one you've seen?
I haven't seen Ant-Man and Wasp, which I know is coming up. So for some reason, I seem to have missed those two movies out.
Oh, they're great. I think they're both great.
So, yeah. But Civil War's next.
I love Civil War. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. I struggled with it a little bit. I don't think it's a bad film. Don't get. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think. Yeah,
it's not as good as
I didn't like it.
It's not as good as Winter Soldier, and not a lot is, because I think that's one of the best espionage movies in the last 20 years. It's incredible.
Winter Soldier was great. I think they tried to keep the tone of Winter Soldier for Civil War, but I think they missed the mark slightly.
Agreed.
At least for
me.
Again,
if I don't know if you guys read comics very much, but the actual Civil War comic, not only was it a huge series that spanned across, quite rightly so, a lot of different brands of the Marvel Universe, but the comic was excellent. The story was actually, apart from it being going off a little bit too much of a tangent, the actual core story was brilliant. And when I heard they would turn it into a movie, I couldn't wait. And then I was actually quite disappointed about the actual product that ended up on the screen. But it's an enjoyable
Yeah, but all
movie,
that condensed into one film, it's a
it's
tall
like
task.
100 issues or something like that.
Yeah,
condensed
it's tall
into
task.
but I just thought the whole reason behind the Civil War, how it actually came.
I mean,
to
compare
is
Civil
different in the
War
comic.
to Justice League, and do you know what I mean?
We will soon.
So, do you know what I mean? It's like apples and oranges, mate. One's incredible, one isn't. But is that all you've been up to this week? Just watching films, you lazy bugger?
Yeah, didn't do much else at all. Working from home, did very little else in the week. Oh, there was one other thing.
Let's go.
Do tell.
I was playing that game I was forced to play on Friday.
What game was this?
It was Dark Souls.
I've never heard of it. Explain the lore to me and the story, please, Biggie.
Guy in armour slashes pots. I don't know. I mean,
hang on. Did you accidentally play Legend of Zelda?
Yeah, that's not the story or gameplay.
So two things happened that night. Not only did I play Dark Souls for the first time in my life, but I did a stream for the first time in my life. So it was all very new to me.
Biggie, you had nearly, I think you had like 20 viewers at one point.
He peaked at 22.
Yeah.
22?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, I mean, it was so nice of everyone, not only the guys, obviously, here that managed to make it, but some of my friends that I told, obviously, I was going to do it. And people that listened to the podcast came along.
Yeah.
So the support was really good, apart from Jeebers.
Naturally.
But,
naturally. You know he doesn't like joy.
He's the kind of guy that if you meet in the street and ask him for directions, you ignore and just walk on because, that guy seriously tried to stitch me up.
He did.
And Kieran's a little bit, but
yeah.
was definitely the devil on my shoulder.
Do you know what? Dude? Honestly, I've never seen a person play that game looking so relaxed in my life.
How the hell do you recline playing Dark Souls? I've played that game through like 15 times. I still lean forward in my chair when fighting bosses.
Yeah, same. There was the bit when the asylum demon jumps down and he goes, oh. when I first played it, I was like, oh my god.
Literally, the worst thing about Biggie's stream was there were no memeable moments.
No,
I was waiting for a fright or a reaction. I managed one. I found one memeable moment where you got invaded and then decided to roll off a cliff. But, but there was no where I could like zoom in on your face cam and you're going, ah!
Didn't you end on like 9 deaths as well, which is quite good?
11.
11.
Yeah,
That's
11,
really good.
But I think by the end of the evening, I was getting a bit tired. And I remember in the middle of a fight, instead of using the hack and slash buttons, I was drinking my potion repeatedly.
Yeah, I know.
Which was quite annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. Everyone was really helpful when
Yeah.
I needed it. I mean, that inventory system, that sucks.
So
it's
intuitive.
so much.
It's so intuitive.
At the beginning, I can't remember who was with me, but I felt like I'd lost my sword. And I was literally looking on the ground, like, where is the sword? And they go, no, it's in your inventory. You need to equip it. I'm like,
I mean, the thing is, Biggie, this morning, I turned on the Switch while I were in bed, and I thought, I'm going to see if I can catch up with Biggie. I got as far as you did in 15 minutes, just to make you feel good.
To be fair, Biggie, you did really well.
You did.
It's I've seen so many people who are kind of breast ganged into playing Dark Souls for the streams or for the views on YouTube, and they have a miserable time, and they have just no issue with they have issues with being able to do anything. And like, it took you like 5 attempts to do the asylum demon, and you just fucking strut out there like a badass. You're like, oh, that was all right.
apart from the first time when it jumped up and knocked him off.
The best one was the third death where we'd told Biggie how to do the plunging attack.
Yeah.
He's like, right, okay, I'm going to go through the fog door, going to do the plunging attack, and he misses this giant demon that's right below him. How did you miss the asylum demon? That was amazing.
And then a friend of the show, Last Ginger, he then sent me a message in the chat saying, nice move, mate, drinking a potion right in front of you.
Yeah, showing off. Absolute mic drop. Is that all you've been up to then, good sir?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just going back to the game just for a second.
Yeah,
I just
you go.
enjoyed it. It was, I've never really played a game like that, and I can see the appeal. I can understand. Obviously, I don't know everything about the game. I've got a lot to learn, but just the basic mechanics that I got as far as
you've got the basic secular nature of the game. You're going as far as you can away from a bonfire. You're collecting souls, and you might have to come back, or you might die. It's that simple.
Yeah.
To the next bonfire.
Risk and reward, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
It's not a complicated game. It really isn't. It's very simple.
And it's one of those games that, like, the hype of it, like, everyone's saying, oh, it's the hardest game in the world. It's fucking not. It was never the hardest game in the world.
It's nowhere near.
It just punishes you for not doing it right, and that's all it is, the same as any other game.
Yeah, you said. I remember you saying at the beginning, saying that if you die, it's your fault. Yeah, it's not.
I mean, look how good you ended up being parrying. You became you literally became Parry Manilow.
Those puns were amazing. They really helped me get through that at one point. There was Parry Mason, Katy Parry.
You were literally the Parry master. I was like, oh my god, he's doing it. I mean, you only riposted twice, but it's incredible.
Yes, yeah.
But
it's a good enough start. Give him a chance on his first stream.
Yeah, but parrying is like essential late games. So if you're getting it down now, mate, you're going to complete that game before Christmas next year.
Yeah. I had 2 beers, and maybe I was repissed. But it's just it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I just again thanks for everyone that turned up.
So what people listening are going to want to know now is: are you going to continue with that?
Yes,
excellent.
I aim to do it again on Friday. More about that later.
Yes,
yeah.
And another final question for you, Biggie. Have you completed Final Fantasy VII yet?
No.
Excellent. Right, so we'll move on now to Mr. Gadget. What you been up to, dude?
So a few things with me time off. We talked about it last week, but Stig talked about it last week. I watched The Boys, started that, and got caught up to episode 4, season 2. so good.
Really good.
Amazingly good.
I'm
Obviously, won't
I'm
go into too much detail about it because Stig talked about it last week.
up to date with it now, I think. I've watched
I'm not.
the new one on Friday. I watched it. Love it.
The Cowards just released the damn season.
I
Watch it
know,
all. I can't be
yeah.
dealing with these cliffhanger endings.
No,
It's because nobody
like
wants to
TV,
keep
isn't it?
nobody wants to keep using Amazon Prime because it's fucking shite.
Well, true.
I don't like using it.
So did that one. Also binged through both seasons of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency on Netflix.
Yeah,
Not the
yeah.
BBC one, the one that Netflix made.
I know.
That was really good.
I like
and
it
it
as
got
well.
cancelled after 2 seasons. I'm very annoyed because that had legs.
Yeah,
It really
I
did.
watched it. I was annoyed it got
I
cancelled.
haven't seen it.
So I really enjoyed it. And Elijah Wood was surprisingly good in it.
It can be. I've always said this about Elijah Wood. I'll defend him sometimes. He's done shite films like Green Street, but then he's done Lord of the Rings, and then he's done his smaller indie projects, and it's like, he can be good.
I think for me, when it comes to Elijah Wood, it's because I love Lord of the Rings so much, it's very hard to see him as not Frodo.
Well, he's getting his head beaten, and you should see him in Green Street, mate. He's getting his head kicked in.
You just said it's
Isn't he,
shite.
isn't he a nasty one in Sin City?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's on the screen for all of like 2 minutes.
Yeah, he's not.
He was
He's not
good in
bad.
that, though.
He's good for 2 minutes.
Yeah. I don't think he even had any dialogue. I think he was just there.
He was a
at
killer,
presence.
wasn't he? Or like a cannibal or
He
something.
was, yeah.
Yeah, so but yeah, those are the main things. I also, on your recommendation from the pilot Oodles, I read Rendezvous with Rama,
Oh, go
which
on.
is phenomenal, and we shall be gushing about that at a future date.
Yes, we're going to do a
because-
little special on it, aren't we?
Yeah, because Jeebus and Doomican are picking it up, and they're going to read it this week, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, but you were right. Like, not a long book. Like, I read it in a day.
Oh, yeah, when I first read it, I was 15, 16 years old, and I smashed it in a weekend. And for a 16-year-old to not do something else and read a book, it must be good.
Yeah, no, it really, really good. I really enjoyed it. But the main one I'm going to talk about is the Yang to Biggie's Yin. I watched Justice League.
Oh, dear.
Oh my god!
I'm strapping myself in for this one.
So
Is it
what I
the
did
first
while we
time
were
you
wa-
watched it?
It's the first time I watched it because
Wow.
I hadn't seen any of the
I've
lead-up
not seen
films
it.
when it came out at the cinema because I'm not that big a DC fan.
An exclusive.
Yeah, so it was on Netflix, and me and Pip were bored the other day, and we just thought, oh, fuck it, we'll stick it on. It can't be that bad. And oh my god, it was that bad.
It is that bad.
So, for anyone who hasn't seen Justice League, there will be spoilers coming. What I did at the time, because I thought, okay, we need to talk about this on the pod, I will write down my thoughts as they come in. I'm just going to run through my chronological thoughts of the film.
Ooh,
as
I
we
like
went through
this. Yeah, I like this.
So, I started writing down maybe about 15 minutes into it when Steppenwolf, the big bad, is introduced.
Yeah, Born to be
And
Wild. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently. Born to be mild in his case, he's shit. But yeah, so basically I started writing things down when he's having his attack on Themyscira. Is that the name of the island?
Themyscira.
Yeah, thank you, Stick. So
Scholar.
the CGI
That's what he
scenes
is.
look like video game cutscenes, not Hollywood movies.
Mm.
Like it looks like it was done in the Unreal Engine for like cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't Zack Snyder know how to frame characters and shots? When Lois Lane's talking about a source to one of the other reporters in the scene, this framing of everything looks off, and also everything you can tell when it's been reshot because the conversation is clearly between two different characters than the ones you're seeing on screen.
Agreed.
Jeremy Irons is the best thing in this, and I will take that to the grave because he was fucking brilliant in it. But he's
Okay.
playing Jeremy Irons, you know. He's just, you didn't
Not
have
hard.
to go very far to act. It's like when Michael Caine was Alfred. He just played Michael Caine.
He does in every film he's in.
Yeah. Cyborg's introduction was stilted and strange, an exposition dump you'd expect from a Year 9 drama class.
I like
Why
that.
is it always space boxes? All these films, it's all boxes from space. It's Tesseracts and things in the fucking Marvel universe. It's these weird mother boxes in Justice League. No. Stop with boxes. Get a different MacGuffin. At least make it look different.
Well, like a triangle. Will a triangle do?
The space boxes being divided between the Amazons, Atlantis, and the humans is just fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Even the way
It
it's
is.
presented in the film, it's we gave one to the Atlanteans, we gave one to the Amazonians, and one was entrusted to man. Fuck off! Why?
And we
Don't
all
make
know
it look
what
like Lord
man's
of the
like.
Rings. And the actor playing the human king in that scene looks like Theoden.
It's
If
not,
you go back
but
and
yeah,
watch
he
it, he's
does.
actually the way his makeup and his beard is done. He looks like fucking King Theoden.
Also, why would you give something to man when you've given one to these basically two godlike
Yes.
species, and then one to who would just literally get wiped out by these species?
Historically,
you've
it's one
got,
of
like-
the worst species on the planet.
I'm pretty sure there's a Green Lantern appearance.
Yeah, there is.
Right at the beginning
There
as well.
is.
Why would they not get it? They're
Exactly.
clearly more like it's just shite.
There are so many unnecessary callbacks to Chris Pine's character from the Wonder Woman film. It's
Yep.
like his death is the only significant thing to happen in her 130 plus year life.
Fair enough.
There is a moment after Aquaman's introduction when he jumps back into the water, and for some reason the White Stripes play.
Yeah, that's
There's no
his theme
license.
tune.
Yeah, but there's been no licensed music in the film up to that point. It just doesn't work. Why is it doing that?
Which one is it? Is it Icky Thump or
Yeah.
Which one? I think yeah.
Why Icky Thump as well? What's that got to do with anything?
I don't know.
Action scenes are difficult and hard to follow, but that's been well established by a lot of critics. There is a creepy amount of Wonder Woman arse shots and upskirts
Yes.
in
Yes,
all the
there
action
is.
scenes.
That's been noted before as well.
Yeah, the Mercedes product placement is fucking atrocious.
Yes.
There's a scene where Wonder Woman goes to meet Cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
Every other car on that street is a Mercedes. And it's quite obvious that every other car on that street is a Mercedes.
Have you never been to America, Gadget?
Well, apparently this run-down part of Gotham or wherever he happens to, or Metro City or wherever he happens to be.
Have you ever seen a Jackie Chan movie?
Yeah.
There's Mitsubishi everywhere, every car, every bike.
They need
everything.
funding for this absolute fucking train wreck of a film.
The hot dog stand is Mitsubishi.
So they go under Gotham Harbour. They have their first fight with Steppenwolf. They lose that first fight, so it's basically, yeah, shit's fucked. We need Superman back.
Yeah.
None of them make any sense being in this film. Their entire existence in this film is just to resurrect Superman. And I'm not even going to go into his fucking top lip shit going on here because everyone's talked about that. I know Warner Brothers wanted to keep the film under 2 hours for some inexplicable reason when every superhero film is like 2.5 hours. But there are huge amounts of time and traveling that are cut out of it that don't make sense.
Not as bad as Game of Thrones, the final season. Not that bad.
Nothing's as bad as Game of Thrones the final season.
Fast travel, mate. You've all done it.
Fast travel, yeah.
The fight at Superman's memorial, after they resurrect him, he doesn't know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
You have the superheroes, as in all of them but Batman, fighting and getting their ass kicked by a god.
Yes.
And then you have very middle-aged Batman just jogging up after it. And that is the most hilarious thing in the world. I laughed so hard at that because he jogs up and he's a bit out of breath. He's like, right, okay, my turn. And he gets face planted against a car or something like that.
But he survives it.
He does, yeah. When Superman is talking to Lois Lane in the field, when he's describing what it feels like to come back to life, that is the worst green screen I've ever seen.
It's horrendous.
What's going on? Like, there's a sunset behind him, but he's lit from the front, and none of it.
Apparently, I've read
terrible.
into this as well before. Like, he shot a lot of the film ready for 3D cinema, and then 3D cinema stopped being a thing. And you can tell. You can really tell.
On the way to the final fight, you get this huge character dump of exposition from Aquaman because he sat on the lasso of truth. And I'm sat there watching that going, is this because you didn't put him in most of the movie? It's like he just pours out all his motivations and all his different bits of his character. Why are you doing this? Why Zack Snyder? And the last quick couple of points that I'm going to run through before I really kind of lose my shit on this one because I'm remembering it all and it's fucking awful. All the final fight is CGI. There's not a real bit of that. So you're basically watching a cartoon at that point, but it's all very poor CGI as well.
It is.
Batman is apparently fast enough to catch the Flash when he trips while running faster than the eye can see.
Well, there you go.
Batman. Yeah. Come on, Batman can do whatever.
He's got a contingency plan for everyone.
and the last one. This is actually no. second to last one.
Trip, yeah.
There's a scene where Superman's lips move while Batman's voice is ADR'd. And it's where he says civilians, and then he flies off. He says something as he flies up, but Batman is talking, but Superman's lips are moving.
Yeah.
So
that's what that feels like.
The last one, the fucking worst thing, the one that made me want to fucking call up Netflix and tell them to cancel their own service, was at the very end where Clark's farm is rescued, and he's like, "What did you do?" "I bought the bank." It's like,
oh god,
that's such an unnecessary flex, even by Batman standards.
I remember that.
Batman is the might as well be the richest man in the world. He's like Jeff Bezos times 6 in his universe. Whatever, I don't care. But see, hang on, you could have just bought the farm. Why did you need to buy the whole fucking bank? Are you just flexing on a god?
Yeah, but you got to bear in mind, like a small town, Smallville's bank can't be worth that much. Let's be fair.
Well, true, but still, why?
Isn't bought the farm an expression for dying as well?
Yeah, basically.
Surely they're just giving the Clarks their money to pay for the farm is cheaper
do it
than buying
yourself.
the bank.
Do what you want.
Some money, pay for your farm.
What does Bruce Wayne's accountant think of all of this?
I don't think he has one.
Oh, and
he can't do.
The most infuriating thing as well is there is the potential for a really good film in there, and DC have made really good films. Like Wonder Woman, I thought was fantastic.
Aquaman's not terrible. I mean, it's not good. It's not terrible.
Yeah. But you know,
it's a bit like Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it's such a dark film as well, where they attempt to inject humor normally through the Flash. Who actually, I did like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I thought he was really, really good. But because they didn't have a lead-in movie for the Flash and they didn't have a lead-in movie for Cyborg, you have these very condensed areas where they have to set up these characters, and it really does them a disservice because, like, you know, Bruce Wayne walks into the Flash's domain, so to speak, and he's like, "I'll join you." Really? That easy? Well, I've got no friends and nothing to do. Let's go. Like, what the fuck?
It fascinates me a little bit. Why? And don't get me wrong, I like Shazam, but why did they opt to do Shazam before like the Flash and Cyborg? It doesn't make any sense. Like how Marvel have done it. It's took them like 10 years to get to Endgame.
Nothing in that,
and it works. It's working for me.
Yes.
No,
nothing makes sense.
The way they did it. They tried to play catch up. That's the problem. That's why they rushed straight into a Justice League film because
it's just Warner Brothers going, "I want that one."
Yeah. Well, look at Batman and Superman. They had fucking Doomsday in it. The man that kills Batman. Well, the thing that kills Batman. I know they changed it up a little bit, but that is a big bad. That is a big bad. Do you know what I mean? It's like straight away. Or like Man of Steel. They're like, let's get Zod in straight away. Let's just get him in. Let's not fuck about. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I actually liked Green Lantern. It's not.
Give up, Biggie. Give up.
I actually didn't mind watching that.
Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry.
You hated it.
I didn't. I thought it was entertaining enough. It's not the best movie in the world. Don't get me wrong.
No, you're just enraptured by Ryan Reynolds' charisma. That's all that is.
That's
a shiny green suit.
There's a lot wrong with it, but I actually didn't mind it. There you go.
What I don't understand with Justice League though is why the fans went so mad for the Snyder cut.
Oh,
and also, why we're getting it. How is adding 2 hours to that atrocity going to make it any better?
It's going to make it worse.
So how long it's going to be?
Yeah,
it's basically it's a 4-part miniseries.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid.
Yes,
and I don't like the pandering they've done to the fans. It's like you know, I don't think they are fans. I think the people that are wanting him to fail even harder. I think it's trolling a little bit.
No. These are
no. The diehard Justice League
fans. Absolutely rabid.
Yeah, but that's
Justice League and Snyderverse, DC, EUverse fans. Like they are.
See, this is what I don't get because the fans want this. Okay, fair enough. The fans want this, but they have to see that the stuff that was there, it wasn't just that him having to leave the film because of a tragedy meant that they did a shit edit. I mean, they did a shit edit. Don't get me wrong, that edit was awful. But the stuff that's in there that Snyder filmed before he went off and before they did the reshoots is bad.
It is bad.
Like
It is.
All the conversations, all the stilted dialogue, the terrible performances. Like, there is evidence that Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and Jason Momoa can act. There is evidence out there. They have bodies of work where they've acted.
Yeah, we've seen
They don't act in this one.
No. They just look good, don't they? They're just there to look good. It's that simple.
And I remember people saying, "Oh, Batfleck is one of the best Batmen ever." Fuck off, is he? No, he's not.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He makes George Clooney look charismatic.
You now make me want to go and watch Justice League.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Wait while the Snyder Cut comes.
I don't know. After hearing all that, it makes me want to see how bad it was.
You're going to like it because you like Green Lantern.
It's a four drink minimum, Biggie.
The worst part about this is I am going to watch that Snyder Cut just because
of course.
Morbid curiosity. I have to see it. I have to see it.
Absolutely.
After all this fan backlash and them drumming up this support for him, he said that none of the footage in that film will be used in his. So he must have filmed a load, which we discussed it before the other week. But yeah, his. I have to watch it. Just
basically, this podcast is sponsored by the Snyder Cut, I think. So we have to talk about it all the time, as well as Die Hard. And yes, that's the first. I think that's the first Die Hard reference we're having.
Ooh, what's that? About 45 minutes in, we're getting further.
We'll take that. So before this becomes a main feature of the Justice League, I think we'll swiftly move on to Stig and what you've been up to.
That's fair.
This week, I've been watching Batman vs Superman.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Nice.
No. Once was enough. No, once was enough. I never want to see them again.
I genuinely nearly, like, not that we're scripted guys, but I genuinely nearly jumped out of character and went, no, Stig, we're not doing that tonight. Do you know what I mean? I nearly jumped out then. Thank God. Carry on. Sorry, mate.
No, I haven't done a lot this week. One of the things I've done is I rewatched Demolition Man, basically last week's pod.
I'm such an influencer.
Oh, yes. It wasn't just me. One of our listeners also listened to it. Because of your mentions.
I've been watching it. I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things in that film that are ridiculous. Like, how has society moved on so much in 40 years?
Such a short space of time.
Such a short space of time.
I mean, in 2032, we're still going to be technically quite young men. Do you know what I mean? Apart from Biggie.
But it's like, I mean, my favourite line in that whole film is not even one from Stallone or Snipes either. It's
Whoa.
In the museum where that guy comes up and he's trying to break the glass and he's like,
No.
Excuse me, sir. What appears to be your boggle?
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
And then he goes,
so good.
He says, my boggle, and then he throws him through the glass window.
He goes, how much do you weigh?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I had a good time rewatching that. So
It's a really good version on Netflix though, isn't it? It's like
it's
whoa.
Yeah, so I was surprised at how good it looks for an early 90s film. They've done a good job, whichever version they've got. But my main thing this week is I have been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again. So I bought this on release, got it on digital because for some reason I thought I would go online with it a lot. I haven't touched online stuff once. So
No, never have I.
No, me neither.
So yeah, I smashed through chapters 1, 2, and 3 when I first got it, as well as exploring this massive map and world and doing all. It's
basically
side missions.
A state, isn't it? It's a state.
Yeah, and
it's huge.
I just at some point I just fell off it, which tends to happen a lot with these massive open world games. If I don't get through them, I have a bit of an issue with just dropping off because I want to play something else. And I just decided to go back to it. I just thought I want to, finish it off. So I've been pretty much mainlining chapters since chapter 4. So mainline chapter 4, 5, and 6.
I like chapter 4, but there are little bits in chapter 5 that I'm a bit like, oh no. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to spoil
I haven't finished
anything.
it, so
I'm not going to spoil anything.
Now I'm in the epilogue. Do you know what? I absolutely love chapter 5 and 6.
Did you?
I really loved it. I loved the the little change up they did, and
Yeah,
how much action is just in it.
I was shocked actually. I was like, oh, some risks. Oh, risks.
Yeah.
It was really good.
There's a few, your standard go here, do that kind of mission, but a lot of it is just building up, and it's building the tension up between the characters, between Dutch and Arthur, and the rest of the gang, and shit's going wrong, but I just loved it. I love getting back into it.
I'm glad you did, because I did.
Smashed it this last couple of weeks just playing this game. But this week, just particularly, I just really went smash through.
What are you playing it on, mate?
PS4.
Nice. I'm sure it's a PS4 Pro with 4K TV and all the mod cons, lovely sound bar.
How'd you get on with the controls? Because they're obviously a big thing that got criticised.
That's my biggest criticism of it, really. It's the controls. After playing this game for it must be like 60 hours or something stupid now, just because of all the side missions I've done, still cock up on the controls.
It's as if, aren't they?
I think it's as if you need another hand, like 3 hands to do it.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a Total Recall reference, but
the problem is they've got the action button does so many things. So to talk to someone, hold this button, and press this button.
Yeah.
But also, holding this button means that you can shoot them or draw your gun at them. So every now and again, you might just hold the action button and just pull your gun out.
Antagonize people.
Yeah, and you're like, oh god, I didn't want to do that, and
I fell off Red Dead Redemption for that because I think I was only in chapter. I was in chapter 3, and I was in a town and I was speaking to a quest giver, and when I went up to speak to them, I shot them in the face.
Yeah, it happens.
And
it really does happen.
That was not good for my health at the time. I did not make it out of town.
And especially it'll put a massive bounty on you that you won't have that money to pay that bounty off.
Yeah.
At that point.
But other than the controls, getting back into it, for my money, I've not played Sekiro. Not Sekiro. What's the recent one that came out? The
Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that one's absolutely stunning. I've not played it, but for my money, what I've played is Red Dead Redemption 2. It is the best looking game on the PS4.
I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is better looking. It's more awe-inspiring. Like Ghost of Tsushima is more like a portrait. It's like there's a lot of stylization to it, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is, for me, the pinnacle of this generation. I think it's better looking than like Last of Us 2.
Yeah, the only thing sorry.
If you look at some of the things that they added to the PC version, like the amount of detail in it's unreal. Like I remember seeing on Reddit, someone posted a video of they basically untethered the camera so they could look right at Arthur's face, and they used the console commands to turn on a light and turn it off, and his pupils dilate in line with the light.
Yeah.
That's a detail that you will never see unless you do that. But they've put it in there.
Yeah, I could have got it on PC and run it on and played it, on something that looked better. But because I was already 3 chapters in, I was like, I can't be bothered redoing it.
No, there's no point at that point.
Yeah, I just carried on with what I was doing, and also I'd built up about $5,000 worth of money. Like I'd gone and collected all the gold on the map. So
$5,000's a lot.
I had loads.
That's a fucking lot.
I have loads of money because I went and I collected all the gold that was hidden around the map, and I fenced off so much stuff.
Yeah.
But it just reminded me, because those chapters is when you get to Saint Denis, and it's so impressive at how alive everything is. All the stuff going on around you that has nothing to do with you.
It's happening. It's happening if you're there or not. That's the incredible thing about it.
Yeah, it's a real life town and conversations going on, and people popping in and out of shops, and people fighting because they're drunk. And
there's some sorry to interrupt.
So impressive.
There's some like boundary break videos you can see on YouTube where Arthur could be in Coulter, which is way up in the mountains to the north. And if you boundary break and leave Arthur and use the camera and go down to Saint Denis, you can see the characters there, the NPCs, are still living their little lives.
Yeah.
And to me, that fucking blows my mind.
Yeah, to think that something's happening so far away from you.
You're just there. You're coincidental. You know what I mean? You're just
it's not
so
like it loads up as you get close to the town.
Yeah.
This is all
just
happening.
there.
And that's probably why.
Yeah, I was just about to say it takes 10 minutes to start
Load
up.
up, yeah.
Some of the best moments I remember from when I was playing it was like seeing the effects of like random events that happened when you weren't there.
Yeah,
You'd walk into town, the sheriff would be looking at some random dead body.
Because someone's been run over or something.
Yeah. Well, exactly. You piece it together from like there's a dead body there. There's a cart that's in the corner,
There's
and
an
you can
abandoned
see
horse.
Yeah, you can see like the tracks from the wheels in the mud. And you think, oh shit, this person's been run over.
I think it's a triumph.
Was that scripted or was it not? And turns out it's not. It's just these random weird events.
It's an absolute triumph. Apparently, there's a documentary coming out very, very soon. It's been halted due to COVID and stuff about the full. I think it's like a 2-hour documentary how they actually made that game, which they put a lot more into a game like than GTA 5, for instance. It's still the best-selling game ever made or whatever, but GTA 5 in comparison is like. It's like fucking last gen. It's last gen. Do you know what I mean? It genuinely is.
That got me thinking of GTA 3. I don't know if you guys were alive when that first came out. But, but when that came out, that was one of my literally, excuse the pun, but game-changing moments for me for gaming, because I'd gone from the top-down view of GTA to suddenly that open world that they created. And I did a similar thing, which obviously Red Dead has just completely knocked it out of the park. But I used to, in the middle of the game, when I didn't have a particular mission on, I'd just start following people around the city, just to see what they did. And of course, it was amazing back then. But I guess if you play it now, the lines are probably repetitive. They'll have a set path.
You can see, you can follow. They'll just go around the block.
But then it just blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. You know, those random events.
It just does all that, but like to another scale. Like
it's a real world.
Yeah, it is. Like to someone, I remember seeing videos of people like you said, that would follow people around.
Yeah,
just follow us Arthur to see what they do.
Sometimes they get in bed.
Yeah, if one guy's literally building a house, builds a house during the day, goes off to the pub, gets absolutely wankered, comes back, throws up, falls asleep, gets up the next day, and just carries on building his house. It's just,
and I bet if you keep watching, that house would probably be built as well if you had enough time.
Yeah, it was just. I've absolutely loved it.
I think it's a tour de force of gaming. And one of this generation's absolute masterclasses. And
I think so.
Sensational.
I think controls aside, which I don't like saying you get used to them, because that's a really rubbish excuse, because I did cock up still, like when I even playing this.
If controls are your issues, play it on PC. You can change them. It's that simple.
Or use a keyboard where you've got more options. You don't have to have so many context bindings.
Exactly.
I will say one of the reasons I fell off it because of the controls was the same reason I fell off GTA 5, because both those games are compressing a lot of controls onto a controller.
Yeah.
And making life more difficult for the player.
It's always been an issue with Rockstar games since day one. You were still on GTA 3, as Biggie will remember, when he was 35 when that came out. Like you were still clicking in the analog sticks, which wasn't heard of at that time. There were R3 and L3. They weren't a thing you did.
No.
And it's like, shit, there are buttons underneath these analog sticks.
Yeah. Just to finish off on that though, the storytelling between the missions really holds it all together. It's so well done. It's so the way that the missions and the story just blend into each other. The main character, Arthur Morgan, for my money, is probably one of my favourite characters from this generation of gaming.
I think he's sensational.
He is. Following his journey is absolutely brilliant.
I think he's the epitome of anti-hero as well.
Yeah,
really is.
I was a bit of an anti-hero because my cowboy was.
Mine was.
My Arthur Morgan was a very naughty cowboy.
Yeah, so was mine. I was extremely alcoholic.
I got the bad ending, like the really bad ending.
Mainly, I've done it 3 times, but
I've looked at all the endings since, and I'm like, I didn't realise there was different endings, but I got the bad ending. But other than that, regardless of that, I still felt really emotional with the ending. There's 2 bits right near the end that really got me. It's just it's brilliant, and I've loved actually going back into it. And
I'm glad that it's affected you that much, and I'm actually glad you've got round to it because You've been talking about this for bloody ages.
Yes.
I'm glad you've finally done it.
I'm gonna get it properly complete, get it off my plate.
Yeah,
and then,
epilogue's an epilogue, mate, but for my money, you've completed it, and now it's your own time.
He needs to go online.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. All he's going to do is get lassoed to death. That's all that's going to happen.
I'm not doing that. But what's what I made, I never played Red Dead 1. Don't know why. I never played Red Dead Redemption 1.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh,
and obviously
good.
This is a prequel.
It is really good.
And the storyline bleeds into that one.
It does.
And there's characters from this one.
Yep.
That I need to see it out, but it's trying
you
to
do.
find. I've been looking on what I can play it on. I don't have an Xbox. It's not on PC. So
bust out the PS3 then, or the PS2, or whatever it came out on.
PS3.
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 I don't have anything to play it on, so maybe it's on PS Now. I'll have a look, maybe.
Yeah.
Have you not got an Xbox?
No.
Did you say?
No, I haven't got one now. So.
Do you know someone that has?
Biggie's going to send you one. Don't worry, Biggie will send you one.
I was going to say Biggie could go into the archive. Go into the archive of consoles and pull a PS3 off the shelf.
No, it's,
excellent.
I will get onto it one day then.
Is there anything else that you've been up to this week? Or is that it?
That's it. I literally spent all my time playing that game because it's such a meaty game, and I've been up till stupid o'clock in the morning playing it. I was trying my best to get it fully complete for today, and then
it doesn't always happen that way.
And then you're like, no, there's still about 10 hours left. And I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, I told you. I felt bad from telling you that, like, yeah, the epilogue's about 10 hours-ish.
Yeah, I've played the majority of it that I could confidently talk about how much I've loved it and everything, so I'm happy I went
Just
back
very
to
quickly, do you think it's ending as it should do? Because I've played quite a lot of games where you feel like the ending's come in, then it doesn't, and then obviously you've got chapters, so now you know that the epilogue is the epilogue. Do you think that's about right, or do you think it's going on a bit too long now?
He has to see it through. In my opinion, he'll get a full picture when he's done the epilogue.
Yeah, because there's the start of the epilogue, and I was a bit like, oh God, like I've just.
I know exactly what your face must have been like. It was like
the end of chapter 6 is just so full on and exciting, and just
it is
so action packed that it's just the epilogue start is such a come down. But I know where it's kind of going, and I will say
the epilogue's basically like working at B&Q when you've been basically a marine all your life.
Yeah, there's a big drop off in like what you do in, but I think it's going to pick up again from where I am now.
Not to spoil it, but it does.
I do think that Rockstar, should they do another Red Dead, they need to do the main character needs to be Sadie Adler. If you played the game, you'll know who that is.
Everyone said the same. Everyone said the same. She's incredible.
It's about time Rockstar used a female as a protagonist, and
I agree.
She is unreal. She could go around busting heads, even not anyone. Like the character's brilliant. So I hope that we see her adventures, like down the line if they do another one.
Excellent. Thank you for that, mate. That's really, really good.
So, Oodles, come on, let us know. What have you been up to?
Not as much as you guys. I've been at work and stuff, but in preparation for the upcoming James Bond movie, No Time to Die, which, believe it or not, I'm quite a big James Bond fan. I've been watching some. I've started from scratch really. I've been watching some Bond films from the beginning.
Right.
I've got all the DVDs and stuff like that, and I think, I've got one left, which is Spectre. And I'm not that into Spectre, but I'll watch it anyway. I think Spectre's the last one. I'm right, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. And while I were watching them all, in my head I was like, which is my favourite? And I think I've narrowed it down, guys. Are you excited to hear my favourite James Bond film? Because this is one of those conversations you can have in a pub, and it can basically separate a table, because Bond's quite important to a lot of people. And
go top three. Start your top three.
Yeah,
I'll start with top 3. So number 3 is GoldenEye, which I love a bit of Pierce. I like a bit of Pierce Brosnan, and I like Pierce Brosnan when he's in his 40s, when you can see that sliver of grey coming. He's got a bit of Just for Men on, and he's got that little bit of twinkle in his eye, and I do like a bit of Sean Bean as well, so it just works perfectly.
Yeah.
Number 2, believe it or not, is Casino Royale.
I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
I
Casino
like
Royale.
Casino
That was a really good turn for the Bond
Yeah,
series.
I think it's a really good one and done Bond. If you're going to watch one, a modern Bond, watch Casino Royale.
It's my favourite Daniel Craig one, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It worked especially well having followed the atrocity that was Die Another Day.
Die Another Day was horrendous.
I mean, Die Another Day was when Bond got
surfing.
so silly. Like,
Yeah.
Surfing.
disappearing
The
cars
surfing.
and
The
stuff like that.
surfing, the ice chase on the
Yeah.
cars. I mean, the cars were gorgeous in that one.
Yeah.
I think it was the V8 Vantage or something like that. Aston Martin. Ooh, beautiful. I mean, I'm going to get corrected on that one.
Do you know what's ironic though? Is that that's the kind of shit that Fast and Furious are doing now. Chases
Yeah, but
on ice
better.
against submarines. I know they're doing it better because of technology and everything's better. So because that bit with Bond skiing.
Yeah, but unlike
looks
Bond, Fast and
terrible.
Furious is about
But-
family.
I know. But they're doing that. I get all the money now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe Die Another Day was before its time a little bit, but no,
Maybe.
that's really low
It's-
down. So
it's terrible.
I've landed on my favourite Bond, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. You might not have seen this because not everyone has, and not everyone recalls the impact it had on the world. Biggie, you remember? You were about 20 when this came out. It's called You Only Live Twice. It was made in 1967. So yeah, you're about 20, Biggie, something like that.
Twat.
So this one's starring Sean Connery, and there's a lot of problems with Sean Connery because he did a lot of things that were of its time. So there's quite a bit of like misogyny and stuff like that, and
There's a politically correctness that follows all the Bond movies.
But when it comes to You Only Live Twice, it's quite grounded, and there's not that much, let's say, dated things in it. If you don't know, in this film, Bond is dispatched to Japan after American and Soviet crewed spacecraft disappear mysteriously in orbit. So everyone remembers that scene of the spaceships and stuff like that. Basically models, because it's the 60s. Each nation blaming the other amidst the Cold War. So a good backdrop straight away. Bond travels secretly to a remote Japanese island to find the perpetrators and comes face to face with Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Now we all know who he is. He is the head of Spectre. So the film reveals the appearance of Blofeld. So he has appeared on other James Bonds, like stroking his cat, but this is the first full-on appearance of him. You see his face. And
For those that can't see, Oodles was literally stroking a cat.
So yeah, it's true. So Spectre is working for the government of an unnamed Asian power, implied to be the People's Republic of China, but it never gets told. You never know that. So to provoke war between the superpowers, the movie was a roaring success and grossed $111 million and inspired many spoofs such as Austin Powers, Johnny English, and things like that. So the main thing that I took from it is Bond. For me, it was the first Bond that was like, right, this is not an English film set in Europe or in England. It's very Japanese inspired. There's a lot of Japanese references, Japanese culture. There's ninjas in it, but not like a stereotype ninja. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really good. There's an actual believable love interest in it, and it's the first known like appearance of a hidden volcano lair. So do you know what I mean? It's one of the.
It's everything you want.
It's
Exactly.
everything you want, and there's the little Nelly helicopter that everyone knows. It's famous, and it's got some really good Q moments because I love a bit of Q. If you're
Oh,
into
yeah.
Bond, you've got to love a bit of Q.
Desmond
And-
Llewellyn was fantastic.
Oh, he
His
really
entire
was.
career.
He
Yeah.
really
His career was entirely just doing Q. But he did it
Yeah.
so fucking well.
But this one, it's got some beautiful cinematography, and I watched the Blu-ray version, and I was like, wow. The only off-putting thing is Sean Connery's tan. It's clearly fake. They really tanned him up. And there's a little bit of. It could be construed as odd now, but it works in the plot. They make him look like a Japanese man.
Ooh, that sounds problematic.
Yeah, it
I was
does.
told
it
I've
does.
been biting my tongue at that.
It does, but when you watch it, even James Bond says this is a bit problematic. Do you know what I mean? He understands, but just obviously, yeah, it's a film from 1967, probably made between 1965 and 1966. So, yeah, watch it with a little bit of, I don't know, reservation. But I think it's my favourite one. And what I learned this yesterday, the screenplay was written by Roald Dahl.
Yep.
Wow.
Which just blew my mind. I'm like, and then you think, it has got a bit of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory to it. There is a secret little society inside a volcano on this one. Not a chocolate factory. But, yeah.
Don't jump in the rivers there.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I liked it as a timepiece, as a bit of a time capsule of a bygone era. And I think you should watch. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some bits in it that you might want to skip over, but yeah, I like it. So I want to ask really quickly, what do you guys like in a Bond film? What's your thing? What's your Bond take?
See, I like the darker Bond films. So
like Skyfall, stuff like that.
Yeah, Skyfall is my favourite one. It used to be GoldenEye because GoldenEye was like the first one I ever saw.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it, but I really like The World Is Not Enough.
It's quite Cold War, but not in a Cold War.
Yeah,
kind of feel.
I liked it for a couple of reasons because it did a couple of different things. Like for a start, the villain being
immortal. I'm thinking the wrong end. Yeah.
No, you're thinking the right one because you had Renault, who was you thought was the baddie all the way through, and he like can't feel pain or anything like that. But
yes,
the actual baddie is the woman that Bond's there to actually protect. The only thing that stops that one kind of being a little bit higher up in my list, though, is Denise Richards as the Bond girl.
Yeah.
Well, you do know Christmas comes twice some years. What does she say? What's the thing is?
It's an awful line.
I always wanted Christmas in Turkey. Which is the worst line in the world.
Oh god, it's so bad.
The whole opening kind of chase scene through London, where he slides down the Millennium Dome, and he's on.
Isn't that one where he's got the BMW as well?
It's one of the BMW films.
Yeah. There's a conspiracy about the BMW Bond films where when there's a BMW in a Bond, it's like evil. It's like a darker undertone Bond, and it all adds up.
Skyfall's definitely my favourite one, I think, and I think Spectre suffers because it came after Skyfall.
Yeah, Skyfall was brilliant.
I don't think it's possible to make a Bond film as good as Skyfall. It's near enough perfect.
I think Casino Royale just tips it at the post, but I get what you're saying.
And I love Javier Bardem as the bad guy. He's
who
good.
doesn't?
So
He's incredible. What about yourself, Biggie?
My favourite is the Bourne series.
That's not a Bond film.
But to me, they are, because they've taken a lot of that concept and done it so much better, because Bond has that sort of history of enjoyable movies, but they are movies of their time.
Yeah,
and I think
they are.
as they've come along, I just think a really simple plot would suit a Bond movie really well.
A bit more grounded.
I just think they overcomplicate it so much. Which is the one that followed Casino Royale? I can't think of the name of it.
Quantum of Solace.
Oh, man. I saw that in the
film.
cinema, and I came out of that like, I still have no idea what happened.
It's one of my least favourites.
I didn't understand what was happening in that movie.
Quantum of Solace is really just an epilogue to Casino Royale.
Yeah, it was just so disjointed. It was awful. I just hated it. Absolutely hated it. Really. So, I mean, just personally for me, I used to enjoy them. Obviously, I'm oldest here, so I remember kind of watching a lot of them as they sort of came out. Moonraker was my favourite. I thought that was really sort of like a campy Bond.
It's quite touching, Moonraker, actually. It's got quite a nice tale to it at the end. It's really, it's more family friendly than most of them, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just, I just remember watching them fondly, and I think if I watch them now, I don't enjoy them as much.
No,
I just think
It helps with the old Bonds if you're watching a really good version of it, because some are remastered and you know what I mean. Sound is a big issue on James Bond. They didn't have the best sound back in the day. So
I think I'm an Alan Partridge. I think I like Roger Moore just because I remember him more when I watched them.
Yeah, you were 20 when that came out, so yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I'm not going to stop this joke. So Stig, what's your favourite Bond?
I'm sat here.
He's looking through them all.
I'm looking through them all. don't know what it is about Bond. I have enjoyed them, but I just don't hold them in high regard that much.
Okay.
I don't know why.
You sound like Jeebus with
Just
Harry
they're
Potter.
not that good.
Not Jeebus, Gadget with Harry Potter.
I enjoy them. I enjoy them, and there's part of me that thought about doing what you've done, just going back through and watching them. And I've sat and I watched these with my dad like loads over, like Christmas and stuff when they had like Bond marathons on and stuff.
And ITV2.
I hold a massive, GoldenEye is up there for me just because like Gadget was my first one I can remember seeing.
Yeah,
properly. Like I know I've watched
For England,
my dad's,
James.
but it's one that
Love
I just
Oh, that was a good Sean Bean impression.
really enjoyed.
He only lives down road.
And then the rest of the Pierce Brosnan films I didn't particularly like. Casino Royale I thought was a really good reset button. Obviously, that
I think Casino Royale's a nice standalone if you don't count Quantum of Solace.
I think that came off the back of the Bond movies. Really, they kind of
He did.
redefined cinema in that kind of action and espionage kind of stuff. And they thought, and the Bond people clearly gone, we need something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone loves it, but I found Skyfall boring as shit.
Oh.
I liked it. I did like it.
I did. I thought Daniel Craig's Bonds have all bored me apart from Casino Royale.
You liked it because Daniel Craig
feel
nearly
like-
dies in it.
I just feel like
Daniel Craig, friend of the show.
no, it's
He
not.
does listen to this.
It just feels like because I've done the Bourne trilogy and then we had Casino Royale and it's just like it seems to be the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Do
Do you know what I was
like-
thinking? It's like I read something about Jackie Chan movies that they're action sequences that they come up with and then they write the plot around that.
Yes, that's always been a thing
And
with Jackie
that's
Chan.
like what Bond is. It's like, let's have skiing going off a cliff and he drops his parachute. It's like, well,
Why
where
is
did
he
he
in
come from?
Switzerland?
Yeah,
They've got to work around it.
that to me is kind of what makes a Bond movie. It's great set pieces, very little in between.
I mean,
Yeah, sorry.
The thing to remember with Bond as well, he's actually a terrible spy.
Because
he blows a lot of things up.
He's crap. There's not a single Bond film where he's stuck to a stealth regime at all.
No.
He is absolutely crap.
And the amount of times he walks into some posh bar or casino or whatever, and he sits right in front of the villain and he goes, "Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Bond." It fucking shouldn't.
Yeah.
He tells
Really good at his job,
everybody's
it
name.
shouldn't.
He tells everybody's name. Like,
Yeah, he
what
never
kind of
changed his
spy
name.
is that?
And also, the best one's got me where Sean Connery's on that. I think he's tied up on that chair, whatever it is, and he goes, "Yeah, you expect me to talk?" And it's like, "No, I expect you to die," because it's just like,
Yeah,
you're
that's
nothing. I just
Goldfinger.
want you
Yeah.
to die. Just get out of here.
I mean, it's brought up, some iconic villains and things like that, which is great. But,
Yeah.
I enjoy them. I just never held them in.
I think you
High
should go
regards.
back and try to see what you can get, what you can gather from it. Because some of them are a product of the time. Like Living Daylights is probably known as the most problematic of them all. Trust me, you can avoid Living Daylights if you want. You can skip over that one. But it's really good. I mean, that is one of the things as well. The music on Bond. Come on.
Not everything.
Got to give it that.
Oh yeah, but it hasn't always been a success, has it?
I mean,
No.
the Madonna's one and the Jack White and Alicia Keys one, they were both awful.
Oh,
Do you know
yeah,
what?
terrible.
Do you know what? I'll stick up for Casino Royales. Is it Chris Cornell?
Yeah, Chris Cornell. Yeah,
You don't need to stick
you
up
know
for that.
my
It's
name.
incredible.
I think it's a
love
banging
it.
track, and so many people gave it the shit, and I'm like, it's absolutely
No,
banging
it's a
track.
banger.
It's like
It's better than the new one, For You Only Live Twice. For Time to Die. No Time to Die.
And that's the thing as well. The last three have all just been kind of like, oh, Bond.
They've all been
it's
piano
me."
ballads.
And I'm like, I'll just give me
Yeah.
some.
Give me some
upbeat
Duran Duran.
and upbeat and funky. Yeah, like
Didn't Moby do one, or did he just do a remix? Or
No,
something? I'm sure.
Moby remixed the main theme when
Yeah.
Tomorrow Never Dies came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was that one anyway. The Sam Smith one for Spectre was dreadful. I did like the Skyfall one because to me the Skyfall one sounded like a classic.
oh
Bond
no,
theme.
actually, I forgot about Skyfall. give it to Adele. But
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a classic.
You've got to love a bit of Adele.
Yeah, I forgot about
You've
that. That's a very classic.
What was the running joke though? It
style.
sounds like she's singing Scaffold or something. Is that right?
Yeah, and she's saying like apple crumble and stuff like that.
Yeah, but no, it's very traditional sounding. I did enjoy that one.
I think you should if anyone listens to this, I think you should give it a little chance and see how far you get, because a lot of people won't get past the first one, to be honest. George Lazenby, it's like oof.
No, the first one's Dr. Nerd, Sean Connery.
Oh, Sean Connery,
George Lazenby was between Sean Connery and Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I've watched them completely out of order then. Even though the DVDs are literally in order.
You say, you know what? I like Her Majesty's Secret Service the most. Said nobody.
Nobody ever.
I'll start with that one.
Dr. No number 1.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all I've been up to this week, really. I mean, I've been watching some excellent streamers and I've been playing some games, but nothing of note. So I think it's about time. If you guys are ready, have you got your seatbelts on, guys?
Oh, just about, yeah.
So strap into my little Ford Capri, because we're going back in time with Modern Escapism this time, and we're going to talk about nostalgia. So get ready, guys. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I am.
Let's go.
Excellent. So what I wanted to do, basically, it's not like we were forced. We're not forced at gunpoint to think of incredible topics. We like to discuss stuff that comes natural, and I've been on a bit of a nostalgia trip of late. Like, remember last week I was talking about Demolition Man. This week I've been watching Bond. I've been doing other things that have reminded, because for the majority of us, we're all stuck in the house, aren't we?
Yeah.
Technically. So I wanted to think of the good old days. So I want to talk about like the late 80s, early 90s. I want to talk about growing up, or like the late 50s, early 60s of Biggie.
Damn. Wow.
Whenever you were born,
cold.
mate. And what I want to do is I want to pick your brains a bit. I want to get some positivity from you all about growing up and being a youth and just the good old days. So I want to start with Biggie, actually, to find out exactly when he grew up and where he grew up.
How old are you? Actually?
And how old he is. So, as what I've called them in the chat between us guys is little nostalgia nuggets. I think it works. I think it's a nice little trademark Modern Escapism. So, Biggie, what's your nostalgia nuggets, sir?
Okay, so I was born in 1974. You know when people say what's your earliest memory and all that kind of thing? I don't really know, but I certainly remember being a kid. So you're probably looking around about 80, I guess, because people say you don't remember too much after earlier than maybe 4. So
4, 5, that's when you're
looking around maybe the
start.
beginning of the 80s, really. So 80s kid through and through. Yeah. So my parents were Republicans, so I moved around quite a lot. But ended up on the coast, down the bottom of England, Worthing, when I was a kid. So it was great being by the seaside town where everyone says things were innocent back then, which I guess isn't quite true.
Fish and chips on tap as well.
Yeah, just people have certain memories. But I just remember living near a seaside, going down the beach. And one of the things that I always recall, which I mentioned in the Discord channel today that got me thinking about it, was arcades.
Yeah. Big part of my childhood as well, mate.
Yeah, I grew up when we weren't at school, go down into town on the weekend and hit the arcades. That's what we did. Got our pocket money, playing Double Dragon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Turtles Back in Time, that one.
Yeah, it was just... And I was saying, the thing I just remember was going down into the arcade and there'd be a new machine brought in. And everybody... Because you'd have the kids that knew what they were doing. You always got that guy playing the machine that used to just spank somebody at, Street Fighter.
Look how good I am at Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or something. I know every fatality. It's like, how do you know that?
Yeah, there'd be like fag burns on the machine where people were just playing the cigarette burning away. There's
I
no
remember
care
that.
for those machines. The boards are always changing.
There was a quite a weird smell to an arcade. It was like like light bulbs and cigarettes. That's what that's what it was.
But it was the noise, because obviously you got your what do they call them? Was it attraction modes? Is that what they call them?
Traction mode. Yeah.
Where they'd obviously have a certain sound playing of if it was like the X-Men.
Afterburner.
Yeah, it just so you'd be like, oh, what's that? So everyone would be checking out the machine. But yeah, that was one of my earliest memories as being a kid, is going down the arcades with my mates. And, I completed Double Dragon on my own with the bag.
How many 20 pences did it take?
I reckon probably a couple of quid back then.
Yeah. All your pocket money.
Chugging them in. And for anyone that doesn't know, if you ever play that game co-op and finish it, you actually have to end up fighting each other at the end, which is quite funny.
Yeah, with Double Dragon, there's the thing as well where you get... they did it similar with Streets of Rage as well. You get to the last boss and he asks you a question, doesn't he? And if you get the question wrong, you have to go back a few levels.
That's right.
Such a bastard.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of my... And I'm really sad that they disappeared. I think there's a couple of arcades around the country that people...
It's become more bespoke nowadays. It's like arcade bars where you have to pay like £15, but you get all the games are free, and it's really expensive for it's like £5 for a pint of lager.
I hear you can hire one out, like a venue.
Namco Funscape things. I know there's one in the Metro Centre up here. I went to a thing. I think the company's called Play Gaming or something like that. They do these little festival things in venues.
Yeah,
where they'll turn up with like 280s cabinets and like original cabinets, and they're all set to free play mode. And like that's the first time I ever played Double Dragon on an arcade was at one of them.
Which is so much better than the PAL version we've got here as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just for memory, I'm gutted that they disappeared. So,
have you got any other nostalgia nuggets then, Biggie?
Yeah, just going into that TV shows.
Go.
We could talk forever about them, obviously, but I just remember cartoons as a kid. The A-Team being on. What else?
How many channels were on the TV when you were a kid?
3, and then it became 4 at one point.
Wow, what a time to be alive!
I know.
You had no choice, did you? You had no choice.
No, and that was it. You know, you'd either you finish school, you get home, and you'd turn on the TV, and you had like Thundercats, or you'd have something
Blue
else
Peter.
coming on. Yeah, Blue Peter. Yeah, you're right. And I think I was just thinking, this is one of the weirdest things that I was thinking about. Like, what do I also remember from that? And something that really freaked me out was, did anyone ever see Day of the Triffids?
Yeah, I have.
No, there was a TV series based on the book, and it came out early 80s, I think.
I think I've seen
it. I don't remember when it was shown live on TV as opposed, like the series.
Yeah.
But I've never been scared of flowers more than these huge, what look like daffodils attacking people through the windows. But it freaked me out. And even to this day, I just have this it's really subtle. I mean, trust me, I can walk through a garden, no problem. But if I just see really tall flowers in these sort of very picturesque gardens, there's just this little glimmer of fear.
It sends you back.
Because of that, I just remember these massive tongues coming out of these flowers, breaking windows, slapping people on the head.
The worry is, Biggie, is when you walk through these gardens and you hear whispering. It's like, oh no, it's the flowers.
That's right. Yeah, so it was just something about that show. But yeah, all the really corny action TV series, A-Team, people never dying after flipping over 9 times in a car explosion.
The henchmen that were just terrible shots.
Yep.
No one could fire a gun in the 80s.
No, I think they set up the training academies for the stormtroopers in Star Wars because it's the same thing. But it's all the figures, the toy figures are all based on this TV show. It's not too dissimilar to what you have for kids today, but the quality of them back then is not like what you have today.
I mean, I've got to appreciate that. I build Gunpla, so I understand that some shows are made for toys. It's that simple, like Transformers and stuff like that.
I mean, obviously, you look at the Star Wars figures when they obviously came out with Kenner, and the detail on some of them.
What about the Luke Skywalker one where the lightsaber comes out of his hand?
It's just,
just like,
wrong. So
it's
right. And then you see
gross.
them now.
Aren't those ones
You
like
see-
hideously valuable though, because they're,
Yeah,
they're
oh,
like
yeah.
mismade or
Yeah.
mispainted or something like that, and they're quite,
Yeah.
end up being quite rare.
Absolutely. They're ridiculous. But yeah, you look at the detail of the figures now.
There's the famous pink Chewbacca that floats around circles that's worth about £10,000 because he's pink
Oh, I never
by
heard of that.
accident. Yeah, oh, you Google it. It's disgusting. It looks horrendous. You don't want it, but you definitely want it to sell.
But there's a good Star Wars documentary on Amazon Prime, I think it is, that talks about the making of the movies. And I think there's a great section where they talk about how they got into making the decision for the toys. And
Yeah. And some of the cast saying, no, we don't want royalties from toys. It'll never sell. And absolutely ruining their lives because of it. So we'll jump across. We'll slide across into Stig's nostalgia nuggets. Let's get stuck into those nuggets. What you got, mate? What you brought me?
My childhood is basically wrestling.
Don't say misery.
No, nothing like that. But I'm all about the 90s wrestling, the pro wrestling.
Oh yeah, I thought we were going to get into some of this.
Yeah, so obviously I think I've been watching wrestling since I must be about 4 years old.
Since you had eyes.
Yeah, my dad's always had Sky for us, so we've always been able to watch it, and so we've gone through all that, putting aside the kind of people they are. We've gone through all that Hogan era and Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Jake the Snake, so all those larger than life characters.
Yeah.
You got to that point where I was just the perfect age in the late 90s for when the Attitude Era came in, and you had the Monday Night Wars.
It was
WCW,
groundbreaking, that.
and WWE, and everybody was watching it in school. It just felt like everyone was watching it in school. Everyone knew who the people were, knew who the characters were. Everyone was imitating.
Yeah.
We were wrestling.
I think it went past wrestling fans. It became a phenomenon. It really
it did. I mean, at that point, they were getting I think 7 million people.
Has it reached those heights since? Because I stopped watching after the Attitude Era.
God no, I've not watched. I kind of went in and out. I stopped watching mid 2000s. Kind of came back in around 2014-ish, and then I've kind of dropped off again the last couple of years. I've had my
Which surprisingly, 2014 is quite a long time ago now.
Yeah,
that blows my mind.
Yeah, well, March.
Have you seen a live one? Have you been to an actual wrestling?
Yeah, I've been to WrestleMania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've heard they're really good events. Not my thing, but
He probably had a fancy box like he did at Liverpool.
God no.
Probably shaking hands with Vince McMahon.
They're very expensive. Those kind of things. No,
I can imagine.
I always wanted to go to WrestleMania, and I just thought, sod it. 4 years ago when I turned 30, and me and my dad and my brother all went to.
We've aged him, guys. We've aged him.
But going back to that, it was just back in the 90s. Everything was.
I think it was huge. Wrestling was huge.
Yeah, and it was just changing so much. I mean, you go back and watch some of it, and I'll talk about it, and there is a lot of problematic stuff in there.
Oh, of course there is.
A lot of problematic stuff, but there's still some amazing things in there. Some amazing characters like Stone Cold and The Rock, The Undertaker, Mick Foley. I can go back and watch clips of it over and over again, and still absolutely love it. Watch that Hell in the Cell.
As God as my witness is broken in half.
I could
love
watch
that shit.
I could watch Mick Foley get thrown off the Hell in the Cell
over and over and over. One of the best.
I did the other day. Mick Foley tweeted something out about Cactus Jack, and just went down a YouTube rabbit hole of his Cactus Jack character. And when he debuted, and it's just like the day he debuted that character, it's like him, Triple H, China, JR on commentary, and the King, they're all just on top form, and it's just
absolutely
so cool to go back and watch some of it.
I did love Jerry Lawler as the commentator.
Yeah, I mean, he says a lot of stuff now. You go back and you're like,
but it's
politics aside.
Yeah, but he was the perfect foil for JR.
If someone writes. I think it's JR's the one I'm thinking of, actually. If someone writes on Reddit or something like, "By God," I hear that. I hear his voice. That man of the family.
Yeah, it's JR. JR is just unreal, unparalleled, basically, in commentary. He was so good back then. But yeah, that's kind of they're like the voice of my of my youth in the 90s. So
were you
big on
like
the wrestling.
practicing? Were you practicing like wrestling moves on family members and siblings and stuff?
No, I was the youngest, so they did it on me.
Oh no! I'm so sorry for bringing that back up.
But I was just going to say that because, for all the criticism that wrestling gets, and sometimes quite rightly so, but the fact that, I chase my 3-year-old daughter around the house and I'm knackered, for those guys to not only throw themselves around, but to pick other people up and throw
It's
them.
huge, yeah.
It's
the choreography surrounding it all, and the stuntsman, the craft. I think it's incredible. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't watch wrestling now, but I don't know anyone's name probably.
A lot of it is just done on the fly. There's some guys that will want to map out the match.
Yeah.
We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then there'll be others who go, right, we've got this spot, and this spot to do. But
I'm doing a flying lariat. Get ready.
In between it, we'll just wing it.
Yeah.
You
can
do little taps.
Yeah.
They do tap signals, don't they? Like, this is what I'm going to do, and in the middle of the match, it's something else.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast called the Attitude Era podcast, where the guys on that go through every pay-per-view. So they started at the beginning of the Attitude Era, and then they went through every pay-per-view and review it. And it's so fun listening back to them. They're really hilarious guys, but they're so fun listening to reaccounting.
Yeah, I might check that out. I might check that out. Absolutely. Yeah. So, anything else?
Yeah, we've got all of us have got the games, the SNES games, and the Mega Drive stuff and that. But I just I remember one of my biggest things was just watching a lot of Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
I love Cartoon Network.
Yeah, so Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken.
Yes,
I used to
absolutely.
love them. I've got a real big soft spot as well for Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I used to watch them all the time.
Yeah.
Same.
There was one thing that I wanted to do when I got older, and I haven't done it yet, and I don't know whether I will because I don't think my kids will be that interested. But I wanted to buy them all on DVD and get them to watch it.
There's a lot. There's quite a lot.
Yeah, but just like the collection, a few of the collections and that. But I don't think they'll be interested and get out of it what I used to get out of it. But
no, probably not.
Yeah, I've got the golden anniversary. Is it 50th Looney Tunes?
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
I've got that for my daughter. So
I wish they would put Looney Tunes on streaming service. There are so many.
Tell me about it.
So many little one shots that I remember. Like my favorite one is shit, I can't remember the name of it. The one with the frog. Everyone knows the one with the frog.
Yeah,
hello, my baby. Hello, that one.
Yeah,
hello, my
that one.
girl.
It's so funny, and I really wanted. I would love to show Pippa because she's never seen it, but there's no way to watch it. Like you get these little kind of compressed clips on YouTube that are like the sounds all screwed up to get around copyright ID and stuff like that. And,
what you need is a VHS and some VCRs.
I'm gonna have to, aren't I? But it's
you're really gonna.
It's like Looney Tunes, especially, was a huge part of my childhood. I absolutely love Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry as well. And you can't get any decent copies of the old the 40s Tom and Jerry cartoons. You can get a lot of the 60s and the 90s ones, but not the originals.
Or the 90s ones when they start talking to each other.
Oh fuck me!
Yeah.
So you got anything else then, Stick?
Yeah, I've got this one. This is a really odd one because no one ever seems to remember this show apart from me and my brother. Any of you ever watched the DJ Cat show?
Nope.
No.
Doesn't ring a bell for me.
It was a morning show on Sky One. It's real.
Oh, well,
it's not one that I've made up in my head
One.
because no one seems to have knows what it is. But me and my brother know. But it's when I got introduced to Power Rangers. They used to. Yeah, that's where Power Rangers was debuted. Like the new ones would debut on the DJ Cat show.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Also, it was a bit like your Live and Kicking type thing, where it was on all morning and then it were putting different shows on.
No, it was just literally like it felt like it was only on for just before school, like an hour, and they had like this puppet of a cat lived in the alleyway, I think, and. And they play like.
Oh, holy shit! I've just googled it. Yes, I remember seeing that. I don't remember much.
Oh right, I was just about to say, were you on a lot of drugs at primary school?
No.
It's just like Sky's attempt at, was it Roland Rat or something like that?
Probably, yeah. Like it's.
Oh wow!
Like I said,
saw that.
No one ever.
So it exists.
No one ever saw it, but it definitely had.
But
it's definitely there.
Now you've shown thousands of people they're all going to be
Yeah.
petitioning for the Sky One cut of this cat thing now.
DJ Cat Show, yeah, but it always had
DJ
Power
Cat
Rangers
Show.
on.
The Snyder
So-
Cat.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of my I used to love Power Rangers. So
I did.
big
Yeah,
thing.
same
Power
here.
Rangers were so
I had
big
Power
for me.
Rangers, Masked Rider, VR Troopers. I loved them all.
Yeah, but he's terrible in it.
Yeah, it's really
It's-
crap.
It's one of those things where the nostalgia really just takes over on how much you loved it. Like, and you remember it so fondly, but then when you ever watch it back, you're like,
It was stuff like,
this
you were
is
like,
just-
yo, Kimberly, would you like to get a milkshake? Yes, Jason, I'd love to get a milkshake. It was really bad.
I only found out this year that it was the Power Rangers was like a Japanese show first, and they just took the fight scenes and just then intercut like American teenagers when they weren't in their.
Well,
scenes.
that's why when they're in the Rangers costumes, they're just that's the Japanese side to it.
Yeah.
They're not even height specific to the actual
Different
characters.
build.
Yeah, completely
Honestly,
different.
at the time,
Like,
I had no clue. I had no idea.
no, me either. I just loved how used to love how silly and over the top it was, and obviously forming to make the Megazord and everything was just
so good, so good.
Me and my brother still do this to this day. But the White Ranger / Green Ranger, every time he used to fight, he used to make this noise. He used to go, "Si-cha, si-cha, si-cha," and we still do it stupidly to this day when we're like messing about. Like
When he used
it's
to,
just one of those
when
things
he
that
got,
I've like remember just like how just like the
he
noise.
got his. He used to call his Zord with his little dagger, like, "Boo, doo, doo." You know what I mean? He used to call his
It was a dagger that he played like a flute that sounded like a trumpet.
He played it like a flute, and it sounded like loads of trumpets in the background. And then the dragon used to come up.
When he upgraded to the White Ranger, I remember. I thought it was so cool. So
He had the
cool,
gold
the White
crest on,
Ranger.
didn't he? And you're like, oh my god! But he still weren't the boss of the Power Rangers. That was the Red Ranger's job. He was still the leader. It's like, he's better than you, mate.
Can I give a shout out to Oodles T-shirt? Is that an Atari top?
It is, mate. Yeah,
good
it
man.
is.
Very on
just
brand
came
for this
prepared.
I just
episode.
clocked it. Nice.
Yeah, mate. I don't know if you've noticed, Biggie, but I'm always dressed to impress. So just get
How disappointing.
Get with it.
Oh.
So, any other nostalgia nuggets there, Stig?
I've so many, but I don't want to take up too much time. I just all these things about, you know, like I was saying with the Power Rangers, you have this memory of films and stuff, and like stuff like the Goonies and Masters of the Universe. Objectively, they're not good films, but nostalgia makes you think.
We'll go back a bit there.
He doesn't like that.
Masters of the Universe, I accept. Goonies.
No, I
Dude,
love the Goonies.
back off.
I know that Gadget and Oodles, they don't like it. But I love the Goonies, but it is fully because of nostalgia. If you watch that film as an adult, it's like, this is shit.
It's not good.
Watch it as a kid, and your memories are, this
I
is
wanted to be in the
amazing.
Goonies. I wanted to be in the Goonies.
Thing is,
when
now
I saw
Stig's
that.
just outed me and Gadget as non-Goonies fans, so we're gonna get some
I'm proud of
hate.
it. Come at me, internet.
We're gonna get some hate.
Again,
Well, when it came to the Goonies, I didn't watch it till I was like 27.
That's not how you're supposed to watch it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Again,
Neither did Biggie, but that wasn't his fault. That's just when it came out.
Yeah, no, that I accept. That I accept. I was Chunk, man. That's who I was.
But I
By
do
the
love.
looks at it, I was sloth, but never mind.
Yeah, I do love that nostalgia does that. Really, like it kind of glosses over the.
This
stuff
is
that's-
rose tinted glasses, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like
Retro
it's the same
gaming.
thing with retro gaming. You're like, God, Metal Gear Solid looked incredible. You watch it now, you're like, oh, he hasn't got any eyes. You know what I mean? It's so weird. But I clearly remember him having eyes. No, he's got no eyes. It's just shading. So we'll dive straight over to the Gadget Man himself. Have you got any nostalgia nuggets, sir?
So I similar age to Stig. I was born in the mid 86. So my nostalgia eras are kind of from 90 onwards, I would say.
Yeah, when you're cognitive to the world.
Yeah. I remember my biggest thing being, well, the first big thing in my life was it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course.
Oh yeah,
Huge.
Absolutely
Oh,
absolutely
loved it.
mad on the Turtles. I was mad on the Turtles to the point that when Christmas came, Christmas '91, I think it was, whenever it was being repeated on British telly.
Mm-hmm.
It was impossible to get the toys. It were absolutely impossible to get the toys.
It was nearly as big as Teletubby Fever. Yeah. Nearly as big.
My uncle was in the Navy at the time, and he managed to get me the full set of the turtle figures from Denmark.
Wow.
They had to come from Denmark. Because
were they the ones
in the UK.
Were they called Ninja Turtles as opposed to Hero Turtles?
Yeah. They didn't have the Hero.
I think it was only Britain that were called Hero.
What was that about?
But
ninjas are dangerous.
I always wanted the big, what's it called?
Technodrome.
Yeah. No,
Pizza?
I had the van, but I wanted the big. What did you say it was called?
Technodrome.
Technodrome. Yeah, sorry, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, I just always wanted that, but that was just a bit one step too far for my parents, I think, on the price.
I had a Krang teddy, the little brain, but it was like soft and plushy, and it was just Krang, and I was like. And I've tried to Google it and eBay it, and I've never seen it since. And I'm like, did I make this up? But then about 3 years ago, I saw a photo of me and my cousin when we were kids, and I'm like, Krang's there behind us. I can see him. It was
real.
He existed, and it was just a little teddy. To be honest, I was that small. It could have been a pillow to my little head, because I used to have a little head.
So like, I mean, other stuff that's kind of the same, a lot of the same stuff that Stig said. I did enjoy wrestling at one point, but I kind of fell off it quite quickly. I love the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Looney Tunes was my thing. I love Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry so much. I adore them.
God, yeah. Tom and Jerry, right? Some of the episodes of Tom and Jerry are so like poignant and clear. You like. For any language, obviously, because they don't speak.
Yeah,
it's almost universal. Perfect as a 5-minute cartoon. Some of them. There's
I mean, they got quite dark as well. I mean, there's one episode.
Yeah.
I think it's Mouse in Manhattan, where Tom's, or it might not be Mouse in Manhattan, but there's one episode where he's trying to impress the lady cat, and it doesn't go his way, and she goes off with the other cat. And at the end, you just see him. His eyes are droopy. He looks sad, and he walks onto a fucking train track and sits down.
Yeah.
This is a kid's cartoon.
My favourite Tom and Jerry episode is the one where Tom goes to hell and goes to heaven, and can you not remember this one? Where it's like,
no! He gets to the gates, and there's,
he gets denied.
There's a sack. You get but there's a sack of kittens that bounce in with water squishing out of them and goes, some people. I was just like, holy shit, I didn't get that till I was an adult and I rewatched it. I was like, that's so dark.
And then they get away with the whole thing because it turns out it's just a bloody dream, and he's sat by the fireplace and he's burning his tail on the fire rather than being in hell and stuff. And I'm just like, this, and I've shown my kids this recently, and my son's like, this is horrible. I'm like, but it kind of shaped us a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, there was the weird element of like insensitivity that went with a lot of cartoons, obviously of that age. But then like the fact that I don't know what it was about the people in the generation above us going, oh yeah, we'll stick this on for the kids, that's fine. And it's just like, okay, it's a little bit racist in places, quite dark.
And you have to remember some of these cartoons came out while we were at war with the rest of the world.
The one with is it the Three Mouseketeers? Is that the one where?
Yeah.
There's a little French mouse or something that's singing like that. I just seem to remember that particular episode for some reason.
That's a good episode.
It just there are some of those episodes that are just mind-bogglingly surreal. I think possibly my favourite one of those cartoons ever would have to be, it's a Looney Tunes one, and it's Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century.
Oh, yes.
And it's Daffy Duck versus Marvin the Martian, and it's just chaotic escalation for Planet X because they need the mineral there that is right for shampoo.
That is a classic. That is a classic.
Now, I'm telling you now, and gamers will understand this, Daffy Duck is the Luigi of Looney Tunes. Like, everyone loves Bugs Bunny / Mario, but the real star is Daffy Duck / Luigi, in my opinion, anyway.
There's also I think there's 2 or 3 of them where it's the rabbit season versus duck season.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
yeah,
Elmer
that's
Fudd's not
classic.
sure which. to
that
hunt.
is beautiful. That is beautiful. That one.
And there's these elements of the visual humor in them is so good.
Oh yeah.
The one that always sticks out to me is Bugs confuses Elmer. Elmer shoots Daffy in the face, and Daffy walks up to Bugs. His beak is on the back of his skull, and he turns it around and "You're despicable," and just walks off in a huff.
There's the Robin Hood one.
You
The
are?
Robin Hood one,
Robin Hood.
where Daffy
Yeah,
Duck
that's a-
keeps hitting each tree as he goes through.
Yeah, that's a classic.
But
And
yeah,
the way, and the way.
but yeah, like,
Oh,
those
really good.
those cartoons really formed it for me. Like, and like a lot of the kids in school with me, they were into like stuff on Nickelodeon. They liked
like Stig, the guys that had Sky.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I still watched all of
we had
these.
cable in the 90s, so we had like Telly West
did
cable
you?
when it first came out, which is how I got to see most of the stuff because it was on Cartoon Network. But I never really got on with like live action stuff. Like I was never really bothered by a lot of stuff on Nickelodeon for quite a
I
long
did.
time. I really like the cartoons because I think I like how surreal they could be and how strange they could be and just how like especially a lot of the older ones. For the longest time I didn't get on with a lot of the modern cartoons. It wasn't until like Dexter's Lab and Johnny Bravo and stuff like that came out, like when Cartoon Network started making its own stuff, that that I really kind of jumped on with that stuff. And some of that stuff's great. I love Johnny Bravo.
yeah.
He's such a dickhead. It's amazing.
But he's a dickhead. Oh, he's here. He's here today.
But yeah, it was the older cartoons that I liked the most. Like I love the Flintstones and the Jetsons and stuff like that.
Roadrunner is my favourite.
Roadrunner. Oh yeah, I love a bit of Roadrunner.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, poor Wile E. Coyote. Actually, just speaking of Wile E. Coyote, that just reminds me of. Did you ever see the Sheepdog and Wolf episodes?
Yes.
There's two of them, I think.
Yeah.
And it's
Good
where
game
it's
as
where
well.
yeah,
They
Wile
made
E.
a game of
Coyote.
it, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, well, Wile E. Coyote and the Sheepdog, like they clock in at the field, like with a proper like punch clock machine.
Yeah, like it's the
And
job.
it's like the best, their friends and colleagues walking up, and then the entire episode is Wile E. Coyote trying to steal a sheep.
Yeah.
And it's just
Oh,
the
it's so
sheepdog
good.
foiling him at every opportunity, and then at the end of it, the clock card, hey, nice day at work, see you tomorrow. Say hi to the wife for me. Kind of thing.
Like you say, the humour is just something else, and it was lost on the 90s.
The weird thing is, like, when I was doing research for this topic myself, I was like, oh yeah, let's pull up all these 90s. But a lot of our nostalgia was stuff that even as parents would class as nostalgia, as in they were utilising old
yeah.
stuff.
Well, like Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet were huge in the 90s.
Yeah,
But they were obviously
yes.
made in the 60s. But that was something I used to enjoy watching with my
Terrorhawks.
parents because they remember it from themselves being children. And
Yeah,
it
but
kind of got
it-
repeated and it became a craze and there was all the toys and all that. But
It's the kind of shit you can't get away with nowadays with the switched on Matrix generation. You can't get away with that kind of thing. Like I watched Thunderbirds with my son, and he's like, "Oh, I can see strings." I'm like, "This is not the point. This is not the point of Thunderbird. Yes, you can see the string. This is art." Do you know what I mean? Getting really angry and.
Yeah.
It's one of those
I
things.
struggle so much with like seeing some of the modern stuff as well, and this is going to just sound like four grumpy old men when we talk about this stuff. But like, I just watch these old cartoons, like Hanna-Barbera's, the
Yeah.
Looney Tunes and stuff, and there's so much charm in the animation and so much skill.
There
And-
is.
And now it's just like, let's just churn out any old crappy CGI looking thing.
Yeah,
They're not all
flashing
bad.
lights.
They're not all bad. They just don't have that lost. I do not think there's anything that my kids watch now will have a lasting effect on them that it has on us. We're sat here now
Yeah.
talking about episodes we could remember from 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we've not touched on The Simpsons that much because we're going to do a Simpsons special one day, but
Yeah.
Simpsons
we
is
could just-
huge
we could-
for that.
Simpsons was a massive part of my childhood. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
There's,
crap, as my
but-
dad called it. My dad refused to accept that The Simpsons was good, and I caught him so many times watching it and
Laughing.
at it.
Yeah,
I-
same.
yeah,
same.
it was the same for me. Like for the longest time, I don't think I was allowed. I remember not being allowed to watch it for whatever reason. And I remember coming downstairs one day, and my parents were sat watching one of the. I think it was the very first Christmas special that The Simpsons had on. It was on a repeat
Yeah.
on Sky, but it was like, yeah, and like they said they just turned to us and says you can watch The Simpsons from now on, and I think that episode had like kind of changed their mind on it, and I was like, oh, all right then. But I have a real big thing about hand animated
Yeah,
animation.
craft.
Yeah, like hand painted, and like even like modern cartoons, not like CGI stuff, like modern cartoons today, like stuff like Teen Titans Go and that kind of thing. They're perfectly fine cartoons, but they are animated on computers, and you can tell. Like there is something about the.
There's only one real modern.
Task.
There's one real modern standout I can think of in the last like 5 or 6 years, and that's Into the Spider-Verse. That's love. That's maybe pure
Spider-Verse
love.
was so good. Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
To me, it feels classic because you can tell these animators have put love into it.
It's like if you watch like an old Tom and Jerry episode, and like, especially the 40s ones where the character animation was so detailed, all the movements, all the motion, all the, like the edges of their fur. But then you like look at the backgrounds and everything is these beautiful watercolor paintings.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's not repeated that much either. That's why the episodes were 5 minutes long, because it took them 10 weeks to do that 5 minutes.
I saw a clip the other day. I'll see if I can find it and retweet it.
Yeah, excellent.
It was a Popeye. Well, he's walking.
Popeye were crazy though.
He's walking through a cave, and I swear, honestly, it goes from like the normal Popeye animation. He goes into this cave, and it's just 3D. They've done this in like I think it's like the 20s or 30s, and it's
Popeye started in 30s.
It is so clever. It looks like so crisp and clean, and it's like the animation, but on in front of like I think it's real models. So it actually gives this proper 3D effect. And he exits the cave and goes back to like the normal animation. I'll see if I can find it, but it's so well done and such a piece of animation.
That got me thinking of Roadrunner when they look over the cliff as he's making his way down. They've obviously got to think about all the different viewpoints, the angles,
perspectives and stuff.
Yeah, just very clever, very smart.
Another couple of things I just kind of wanted to go over. Like, so for me, like films were a big part of my childhood, and like
we didn't have much else to do, did we?
No, but like I remember, I think the first time I went to the cinema, I can't be 100% sure. I need to check with my parents on this one. First time I went to the cinema, I think, was to see DuckTales the movie.
Woo!
Yeah, great film. Actually, surprisingly good film. It's a really good film.
Is that the one that starts in Egypt and there's a bit of an Egyptian theme to? Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
it's good.
And but like Toy Story was one of my peaks of the 90s. But Aladdin was my favourite film of the 90s. I loved Aladdin so much.
I can show you the world.
Oh, no.
I love Aladdin.
No, none of that shite.
I love Aladdin.
No, yeah, but none of the romantic shit. Because you want the, well, Alibaba had them 40 thieves, Shahrazad had 1,000 tales. I can do that whole song and all the voices, incidentally. I have a video on YouTube back when I used to do YouTube where just after Robin Williams died, I did a tribute and recorded me singing that song. But that was such a big part of my childhood.
Aladdin's one of my top 3.
I watched it a couple of months ago. It still holds up. It's still so good.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
And I was saying, as a point of nostalgia, fuck the new version of it, because I heard the Will Smith version of Friend Like Me, and it is atrocious. And it offends my sensibilities. No. The main thing is it hasn't got the energy. His genie doesn't have that energy that Robin Williams' genie
no
had.
one's Robin Williams. Let's be
so
real.
why bother? Why do it?
Because they had to.
Did they?
Money.
But yeah, and the other one, and this is a very specific thing. I don't know if you guys get this. Do you ever have associated memories with sensations? Like you hear,
massively.
So there is I got my first ever CD player in 1997. I was I was 11 at the time. I wasn't really bothered by music until about that age. But then I kind of started as I was getting older, I was kind of like hearing stuff on the radio, and I was like, I'd quite like a CD player for Christmas. So I got a CD player for Christmas. And I got 2 CDs with it. One was like a Rock Ballads collection one, and one was one of the Now CDs.
So you didn't get Limp Bizkit? That was my first CD.
Everyone's on a Now CD.
Yeah. But so the first two tracks off the first disc of those 2 albums. So the Rock Ballads one, the first 2 tracks were "We Are the Champions"
classic.
and "Don't Speak" by No Doubt. And on the Now CD,
classic.
the first 2 tracks were "Tub Thumping" by Chumbawamba.
Nice.
And Spice Up Your Life by the Spice Girls.
Another good song.
If I hear any of those 4 songs, I can smell Christmas dinner cooking.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
Wow.
And it's this weird thing, and like I don't particularly like the Spice Girls or Chumbawamba, or
I do.
But if those songs play on the radio or play in
Is
the
it like
background of an advert,
some weird time travel nostalgia synesthesia type thing?
and it's just this weird thing. Like I'll just get the smell of like cooking turkey in my nose, and it's just like that.
Oh wow!
It's like this
That's
really
powerful.
nice.
That's one step closer to meditation, mate. You need to start meditating.
Well,
seriously,
the thing is, and without wanting to bring things down, like I went through a really rough patch a couple of years ago, and there were a couple of times where I just deliberately played one of those 4 songs to get that feeling because it was kind of this warm, comforting hug of
I get it.
Christmas
Absolutely.
in the 90s when life was simpler, and the thing I had to worry
It's
about
powerful,
was
isn't it?
how the CD player fit together. You know, that was my biggest worry at the time.
So what was everyone else's first CD?
Mine was Limp Bizkit.
Are we talking ones
If only
that
we
you
could fly.
Are you talking ones that we bought? Or
Yes.
ones that we
That's what I'm saying. What I bought. Yeah.
First one I bought was These Days by Bon Jovi.
Ooh, better than mine.
First one I bought, I want to. It would have been something new metal, and I can't remember whether it was Papa Roach or Linkin Park. I can't remember which one.
Oh,
I
like how you
Linkin
say
Park.
Papa Roach.
Papa Roach.
Papa Roach.
Mine was The Cure.
Love that.
The mixed
Ooh,
up,
The Cure.
the mixed up album.
Yeah. That's a banger. That.
That's
Oh,
mine.
just
Love The Cure.
Biggie just like wiping us all out there. Like,
Yeah, mine was something that's actually in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So yeah, that's lovely. I mean, that's exactly what I want to hear from you all. Some nice nostalgia nuggets. Like you basically hit on stuff that I've hit. I'm just going to briefly list off some things that I were looking at. I had Pogs. You got to remember Pogs. Pogs were a good thing.
Pogs are amazing.
I've got.
yeah.
I remember like going out of my county and seeing stuff like Tyne Tees and Granada and Meridian for ITV. Can you remember that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still like that now because I don't have terrestrial television.
Yeah, it is still
That
like
used
that.
to blow my mind. Like, I used to go to go to like County Durham. It's like it's Tyne Tees. I'm like, what the fuck's Tyne Tees? What's that? But, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then I remember shows like Games Master that were a big influence on my life. Sticker albums. I talked about that last week. Space Raiders, crisps. That were a big part of my childhood.
Everyone ate those.
Pack.
Yes.
It was 10p a
Beautiful.
pack. You got
Yes,
a comic
mate.
attached to it. It was just incredible.
Oh, do you remember
And-
getting? Sorry, do you remember getting like Pogs and stuff in packs of crisps?
That was the
Yeah,
Tazos.
Tazos.
Oh,
Tazos.
Tazos,
yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars
Oh,
Tazos.
Tazos were
and-
huge. Star Wars
Toy-
ones, Looney Tunes, Toy Story.
Toys and cereal as well. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's and
Bubble
the
gum
main
with
thing
Star
that-
Wars cards? No, you won't remember
Yeah,
that.
I remember that. Yeah, the bubble gum
Seriously?
was shit. Ugh, crap. But yeah, the main thing that came to me as well was Virgin Cola. I've been talking about this all week. Like Virgin Cola was a big thing to me because like I used to get 50p pocket money, and Virgin Cola was a lot cheaper than Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Which leads me on to the greatest segue I've ever done in my podcasting career. This section I'm going to do really briefly is called How Much Was It? Are you ready, boys?
All right then.
Are you ready, boys? So I've only got 5 things. So can you tell me how much a litre of petrol cost in 1995? Now, Biggie, you were an adult then, so it's a lot harder for the other 2 guys. But how much was a litre of petrol in 1995? I'll let anyone guess.
I'm going to go 35p a litre.
Okay. What do you reckon, Stig?
27.9.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
exact. Threepence.
2 shillings.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm going to go for 43.
Okay. What did you say again, Gadget?
35.
Oh, well, Biggie's won because he's closest. A litre of petrol, so we're talking like just your standard unleaded petrol, not 4-star or some weird petrol that doesn't exist anymore or diesel. It was 60p a litre.
Whoa.
And in today's money, that's about £1.08 adjusted for inflation.
So
Oh, I like so
actually,
low.
Nice.
Yeah.
so that would mean after inflation, like it's about £1.09
Yeah.
at the minute. So it hasn't actually changed much in price.
It hasn't actually changed it because I'm not going to go into politics, but they make it up, don't they? Let's be real.
Sure.
Next, how much was a can of Coca-Cola in 1995? So official Coca-Cola. What do we reckon, boys?
33p.
Okay, I like that. Next,
I was going to say 30.
Yeah, I'll go 40.
Okay. Stig, you were bang on. Spot
Yes!
on. 33 pence. So in today's money, that's around 80 pence.
Why do I know that?
I don't know. It's just, but I remember
blazing on the side
33,
It's a weird figure, though, isn't it? Why was it not rounded
33
off?
used to be on the can. That was a big thing.
That
It was
might be
33
why then.
pence.
But why did they not round that off? Isn't that
I
such a
don't
weird
know.
thing?
It was a weird time when we all had coppers in his pockets. It was a
Yeah,
weird time.
yeah.
So, how much was a packet of Space Raiders in 1995? I think we've already glossed over this.
10p?
10p.
What do you reckon, Biggie?
Yep, agreed.
10p. And adjusted for inflation, what's that today in today's?
What's it in Freddo's?
In Freddo's is 10p.
And it's only 25p now, aren't they? Pack of Space
20p
Raiders.
on average now, but
Yeah.
the weird thing about Space Raiders is it's wherever you are in the country, it can be changed. And what I found out is the weight was decreased by half, so you're paying more and getting less.
Shrinkflation.
Yeah. Yes. Another one, a tricky one. This one. How much was a trip to Benidorm, all inclusive, for 10 days in 1995?
You've literally
Per
seen an
person.
advert on YouTube for this, haven't you?
Oh, my word.
No.
Is this
no.
per person, yeah?
Per person, yeah. So let's pretend you're going on your own. What do we
110,
reckon?
110.
£89.
Okay. 110, £89. What are you saying, Gadget?
Oh, 200 quid. No idea.
Right, so Stig, you've got it spot on again. It was £89. I don't know how you're doing this.
I swear, I'm not cheating. Not cheating here. I
He
just
went to
£89
Benidorm drinking Coke.
In today, for the same, and I'd looked at this, and I can show you my working out and calculations. I went to the same hotel. The same hotel for 10 days, all inclusive per person to Benidorm is £500,
Good lord.
Jeez.
and that is included with all the pandemic and stuff like that. Because
Yeah.
things are a little bit more expensive now, but that is such an upsell. That is ridiculous. And the last one I've got is how much was a packet of 6 Panini football stickers or equivalent movie or TV tie-in 1995?
£1.
Oh shit! I know this one because I kicked off on my newsagents about it when the price changed.
55p.
25p.
Oh,
Okay, it was 25p because it went up by 5p in 1995, and people, yes, kicked off about it. And today,
I remember
they're all
I
a pound.
I used to get £1 a week pocket money, and I remember on a Saturday I'd be able to go to the shop. I used to be able to get me football stickers and a copy of Match for a quid.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I thought a quid, because I had a quid and I'd go and get
Everything else, yeah.
I used to get
apparently
four
there was
packs.
a massive uproar in 1995 in January after New Year when they went up by 5p, and now they're a quid. So excellent. So I do really want to thank you all for joining me on that trip down memory lane. What I'm going to do, this is going to be like an ongoing thing for myself. I mean, not every time I'm hosting is going to be about nostalgia, but I definitely want to come back to nostalgia because I think it's such a broad topic. You could even do a podcast especially on that.
Yeah,
So
it'd be good to hear Jeebus and Doomican as well.
yeah. That's what I mean. There's a lot of things that we can touch on. I mean, if we got Biggie to write his memoirs, Christ, we're going back past the Vietnam War,
Wow.
the Boer War.
I'll tell you what, there was
See
a
what I
good
mean?
shout out to the thread in the channel where people put some favourite theme tunes from a lot of the shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
D'Artagnan, stuff like that, amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're going to do now, though, because I'm conscious of time, as always, because time is fleeting, as the Time Warp did tell us. We're going to move on to the Inquisition, and I believe, Gadget, you're in charge of that Inquisition.
I am indeed. So yeah, we asked you on Twitter if you could tell us an embarrassing childhood story, maybe how many pogs you had, all that kind of thing. So we had quite a response to this one, and it was really good. So we're going to jump straight in.
I enjoyed reading these.
We had communications directly from the bin because Lindy got in touch with us again at Lindy Bailey on Twitter. She said she saw a tweet the other day that said to correctly ID someone, say the words Nicole, and if they respond with Papa, they're over 25. She says, I grew up in a shitty seaside town. Think stripy deck chairs, warm soft scoop, a promenade full of tacky shops selling postcards with doctors who are essentially sexually harassing female patients, and all sorts of trinkets and tat that you would take home to your loved ones to prove you'd left Birmingham. Bit of bitterness there towards Birmingham from Lindy. However, Amidst all the shit, we had something which I took for granted, something so pure. The sight, the sound, the smell of it shall be forever etched into my memory. No, not the Severn Estuary, or as some like to call it, the beach. We had arcades, a fuck ton of them. And the lights, the sounds, this magical place felt otherworldly. From shooters to racers, from fighters to platformers, we had them all. House of the Dead, Daytona, Sega Rally, Time Crisis. We also had a guy come around your street and rent you Commodore 64 games from the back of his van.
Yes.
But that's a story for another time. What? Is that a thing that happens down south?
No, I think that might be just her.
I remember the library van coming around, and we could.
I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know if they do that anymore. I don't think they do. Probably not. But there's another thing from our childhood: the old library van.
Or libraries in general.
Yeah.
That Time Crisis in the arcade
Time Crisis was
machine.
amazing. That was one
Hitting
of the
that
few things I
pedal,
did play at the arcade.
ducking. People have never looked cooler with a light gun.
Yeah, oh, so good.
And House of the Dead as well.
good.
House of the Dead was insane. It was so
That
much fun.
scared me.
Yeah.
The
That was
graphics on that
terrifying.
were incredible. I was like,
Okay, so moving on. Best boy himself, Kurt Lewin at angry_Kurt on
he is
Twitter.
the best boy.
The 90s for me was when I was growing up. Being born in 92, I have really fond memories from it. Going on holiday to Disneyland in Florida was my highlight, as there was nowhere better as a kid. The 90s was also all about Saturday morning and after-school TV. I loved sitting down on Saturday morning with my Weetabix and Cinnamon Graham's mix. That's a hell of a breakfast. What was Weetabix with Cinnamon Grahams?
He's probably got
intense.
Sky as well.
That was back when people used to say cereals were really good for you, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They're full of E numbers
They're
and
not.
sugar. Anyway, so he would sit with his bowl of sugar to watch stuff like SMTV Live, CD UK, and with cartoons such as Recess, Watch My Chops, Fairly Odd Parents, My Parents Are Aliens. Really good
I think I'm a bit
times.
old for that.
And it's
I don't
weird.
remember those.
And it's weird when I look back at music from that period, particularly cheesy pop music, like the Spice Girls, which I couldn't stand back then with my sister who was listening to them. But when I hear them now, I go all nostalgic, and I absolutely love it.
Yes.
And he also brought up, and I'm going to make a slight divergence on this one because I need to tell you something. He also brought up Robot Wars in another tweet, and I was on Robot Wars.
You were
Were
on
you?
Robot Wars.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Robot
Oh
was
my God.
after, I think it was like the 5th season or something. They did a live tour of the UK, of like arenas in the UK, and my school entered in the one in Newcastle. So,
Wow.
So I got to go to it was the Telewest Arena or NTL Arena at the time, whatever the arena is in Newcastle. Got to meet Craig Charles, got to meet Philippa Forrester. Had all this wonderful experience. Got to meet all the house robots. So Kill-A-Lot is fucking enormous. Like I think he's-
Matilda.
Yeah, but the thing is, the house robots, they were all so much bigger in real life than you look on the TV and you think they're fucking big. No, they're bigger.
Wow.
And it was a really fun experience, and we got knocked out in like the second round by like a Hypnodisc ripoff, but it was a really good time. That was a good one.
Robot ears, stand by.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
No, Robot
Love
was
it.
amazing.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah.
And the Americans tried BattleBots. It's not the same.
No.
So
Wow.
Christopher Love at Deadbeat Punk posts a picture of some Sunny Delight. He says, necking a couple of these bad boys before watching 5 hours of Cow and Chicken, Dexter's Lab, and Dragon Ball Z on Cartoon Network. Now, Christopher Love is a man of culture. That is confirmed. With that tweet,
Yes.
he's confirmed man of culture.
Sunny Delight used to taste incredible. Now it's so weird.
What was
think it
that
probably
Sunny
tastes-
Delight all about, man? It was just
It was so nice.
I loved Sunny Delight.
the
When that
colour.
It
came
was
out.
so
The
nice.
colour looks radioactive. It's insane.
Yeah,
It is
That's why we liked
radioactive.
I remember when I got up to the point at school where they would let you go out for lunches, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and get myself some Sunny D. It's just like,
Yeah, I used to get fish and chips and Sunny Delight.
yeah.
Even its name sounds like it should be on the periodic table.
And I'm sure I was convincing myself that I was drinking orange juice and not a fizzy
Yeah.
drink, so it was much
I
better
don't,
for me.
I don't think it ever said orange juice on it at all. I think it was like orange flavoured drink.
Yeah, I don't think you could legally call it orange juice.
Oh, wow. Sunny D.
We had follow-up correspondence from the bin because Lindy got back in touch again.
She's a menace. She's an absolute menace.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Can't get rid of her. She says speedrunning gives her nostalgia because she'd only get a Master System game for her Christmas or birthday, so she'd have to get creative with ways to make a game last until the next one. And she also adds that she just wanted to be Jet from Gladiators.
I wanted to be Jet from Gladiators as well.
I used to have such a crush on Jet.
Yeah.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
Talented and beautiful.
Yeah. Gladiators was so good though, wasn't it? Like,
Oh yeah, it was.
Was it though? Have you watched it? Have you?
No.
Was it?
yes, it was.
Was it?
We're talking nostalgia here. I've already told you.
I only watched it for
Nostalgia.
you. That's all I cared about.
Yeah, nostalgia makes things better. It's a proven fact.
I mean, there's
It
there's nothing better than watching the final two perfect athletes doing that massive obstacle course at the end, and then just watching them fall over like arseholes on the travelators trying to get at the very end of it.
Yeah.
Can't you remember? Can't you remember that massive like national event when the American Gladiators came to Britain, and we had the American Gladiators versus like the Wolfman and Saracen.
The Wolf. What was he about?
Rhino.
The thing is, with American Gladiators will have been massive.
They were monsters. They were like American footballers.
Huge men, and then we had the Wolf.
Like American Gladiators are
And
like
I'd still-
Wolf had the hair.
Titan
I,
and
no,
Zeus.
I would still put my money on Wolf.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I was a psychopath.
He used to drop kick the crowd. He weren't fucking
Yeah.
scared, Wolf.
Absolute heel.
He would have been there at the end of the
perfect
night
bad
when
guy.
the pub calls last orders at 2 a.m. in the morning, and the Wolf is the last one there.
Loved it.
So Little Lolly 2 Scoops at Little Lolly 21 on Twitter. Blue hair mascara. No, I'll start that again. Blue hair mascara. The Raccoons, Pogs, the Crystal Maze, and Gladiators.
Yeah.
She also
Wolf
told
and
us my
Gladiators.
brother and cousin fed my special sweets, and told me they would make me look like Kylie Minogue. These sweets were wood lice. I ate wood lice.
Oh, that is absolutely shocking.
Oh, that's horrible. I can't even stop gripping now. Oh.
See, I bet she's the younger sibling, because that's the kind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
My brother never went that far, but I used
That's
to get
awful.
told loads of stuff by my older brother and sister.
Oh, these special sweets that move. Oh, I can't even talk about it.
Older
And then they make
siblings
you look like
are
Kylie Minogue.
horrible.
Amazing.
She should be so lucky.
Oh,
See what you did?
Sorry.
Can you put in a drum roll there, please?
I'll put in a drum roll.
the Crystal Maze though. Who wanted to go on that?
Oh, everybody.
went on it.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
It looks.
I
so
went on
good.
it. I went on the fake one at Blackpool.
Yeah.
I don't
It's not
count.
real. It weren't a real one. There were no Richard O'Brien there. It was just a fake Crystal Maze.
What I love about the Crystal Maze is that you have all those sort of intelligence tests occasionally through that show as well. And then you've got the
Yeah.
physical dexterity and all this. And then they get into that dome at the end. It's like, right, just go chaotic.
Yeah, just
There's no
Don't grab the silver
there's
one.
no skill involved in that at all. It's just I love it.
It's stupid.
Yeah, they're going through
I love
all
Crystal
this
Maze.
effort just to dictate how much time they have.
Didn't they bring it back with Richard Ayoade? And I love
Yeah, they
Richard
did. It was
Ayoade.
really good.
I've not watched it. I've
No,
not
I
watched
haven't
it
seen
yet.
it, no.
So
It was.
I love
yeah,
it.
It was like a stand up to cancer thing, and yeah, they brought it back.
yeah,
With a couple of celeb ones, with some really annoying celebrities.
yeah. They're
in
not really
quotations on it.
celebrities, are they?
But
It's
then, like, people liked it, and they did like a full series of it, and it was really good. And I like Richard Ayoade doing it because he had the right level of I don't give a fuck about you people. I'm just here to get a paycheck.
yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is what
I
Richard
love him.
O'Brien
He's
had from the
good.
start.
Yeah.
Dave Lyons at Jimmy Gillicas says G.I. Joe before it changed. Also, having to watch what felt like 3 hours of crappy Timmy Mallet or similar to catch 42 seconds of the original Transformers cartoon.
Whack-a-day.
Timmy Mallet. Whack-a-day
I
was
never
amazing.
had G.I. Joe. I had Action Man.
They are actually.
G.I. Joe was the actual show that was on,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
our version of the toys was Action Man.
Yeah.
So you watched G.I. Joe, but you played with Action Man. It was so weird.
Mate and
Yeah,
I,
it was-
we were going to open up an Action Man museum when we got older. That was our plan.
Really?
Yeah, but we were going to have all these little cabinets with little, like.
Well, what's happened?
war-
What's stopping
sensibility, I think, came into.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
But we were
Then.
going to have little cases that showed little like war.
Wasn't
things or something.
Action Man's main baddie like Professor X or something like that?
It was something, yeah.
Doctor X.
He had.
Dr. X.
He looks a bit like.
Heihachi from Tekken.
No.
Looked a bit like him.
Oh my
He
god.
changed
M.
so much.
Bison. He looks a bit like M. Bison from
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he had definitely end boss vibes to him, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So, last one up, we have The Real Rider at Rider_555. Grown up watching these 90s gems. Now, these are some gems. I used to watch every single one of these programs. Let's see what we've got. Trapdoor.
Yep.
Yes.
Nightmare.
Yes. Oh, Nightmare.
Thunder, 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 Cats.
Yes.
I was off key on that one. Reboot. Who remembers Reboot?
Reboot, yeah.
Nope.
I think it was like Canadian or New Zealand.
Yeah, it was
like
it was just after Toy Story came out, and the whole world went 3D animated.
Shite.
Oh, it was like the cheapest 3D animation you could get at the time. It was an amazing show though.
Oh yeah.
Obviously Transformers, a classic.
Yeah. It depends, because I like Beast Wars better than Transformers.
Never watched
Controversial
Transformers.
The CGI Beast Wars one, I love that.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, standard.
Yep.
Yep.
Standard.
The Raccoons,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
which was amazing.
Cyril Sneer.
Yes. One of the greatest bad guys in all of cartoon history.
Well, he smoked a cigar, he had to be bad.
Exactly. and he had a gold chain and gold rings.
Exactly.
And my favourite cartoon of my childhood that wasn't like Tom and Jerry and stuff like that, like a proper 80s classic, Count Duckula.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Count Duckula.
The only vegetarian vampire.
And you know, Count Duckula still holds up today. If you watch it now, so many of the jokes just land so much differently when you're an adult.
It was made by the guys who did Danger Mouse and
That's
stuff,
right.
wasn't
it
it?
was. Yeah.
Danger
So it was like
Mouse.
David Jason
Yeah.
doing the voices as well and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so good. And Danger Mouse is good, but I think Duckula tips it at the post on that one. I think it's just that little bit better.
Yeah.
Danger Mouse is
just
a lot more surreal.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit weird, Danger Mouse, isn't it?
Yeah,
But Duckula, it's a bit more global, isn't it? Because they're going around a little bit and like meeting the Loch Ness Monster and weird, strange stuff like that. I like it.
yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah, there's an episode where they end up in the Arctic and they get kidnapped by some pirate penguins. And
Exactly.
it's the stupidest gag in the world. My favorite little joke from that one is the penguins get into a fight. It's fire the grape shot. Sir, why don't you fire the pineapple shot? It'll hurt more. The stupidest gag in the world, but I love it every single time. It's the one thing that always sticks in my mind.
It works.
But yes, that's everything that we've had on Twitter, all the feedback that we've had for this episode. So
Thank you very much,
yeah,
everybody.
thank you.
I really appreciate that. You've given us and yourselves the feels, as the internet calls it, the nostalgia feels. But before we head off to the good ship, good night, Biggie, I believe you've got some socials for us.
Yeah, just want to cover how to get in touch with us. Twitter is at Modern Escapism. As always, please leave your feedback any way you can, but we'd love seeing it on Twitter. Get a great response from all the team on there. Email us at modernescapismpod@gmail.com. Website, modern-escapism.buzzsprout.com. We're now live on Twitch. At
Yes, we are.
twitch.tv
Well, you're live on Twitch.
/Modern Escapism, and another member of the team will be joining us very soon as a Wednesday night.
Ooh.
Our own
Hub Day
Gadget
stream.
will be streaming Pillars of Eternity
yes, come for some RPG fun.
from
It's
9
going to be
PM, right?
nerdy. Yeah, 9 p.m. every Wednesday. It's going to be nerdy. There are going to be stats. I am going to lose my shit reading out dialogue. It's going to be hilarious.
It's going to be one of those where you need a nice cup of hot cocoa and a dressing gown and just get nestled into the dulcet tones of Gadget and his nerddom.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be nice.
yeah.
It's going to be nice.
It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, looking forward.
And are you back on Friday as well, Biggie?
Yes, I'm going to return. Going to aim for 9:30.
For more adventures in Lordran.
Maybe 9 PM, 9:30. I'll ping that out.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be earlier, but yeah, otherwise it'll be 9:30. So come and watch me die some more. And as always, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. Really appreciate it, but 5 stars only. Otherwise, get in the bin.
There's really no point. It's a waste. It's a waste. Give us a 5-star review and slag us off in the actual comments. You know what I mean? The 5 stars gets that message across, and you might hate us enough to want us to be successful, so you can continue to hate us. It'd be beautiful. Before we leave, I want to make an announcement as well that we do have a Discord server now that's live. I will put a link on the show notes. It's quite active already, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, we've got a few
Quite
people in
good.
there.
Yeah, it's quite good. A harmonious little community we've got growing. So hop on inside, check the show notes, and I believe, guys, this is us. This is a show. What say you?
I say
Yes.
go.
So say we all.
Yes, we've gone on a little bit longer than anticipated, but nostalgia is a cruel, albeit lovely mistress. So I've been Oodles, and you've been Gadget, and you've also been Biggie, and you've definitely been Stig. And I'd just really like to say thanks for indulging us, and have a pleasant week. And we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Sure, fucking hell, I'm knackered.